We are live. Dougie with the new background. Are we doing some TA today? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, but what are we cracking? What are we cracking?
Ain't no laws when we're drinking the claws.
Lord, that stuff is disgusting.
Do you always do bourbon? Is that more your speed?
Well, today it is a Celsius.
Celsius, okay.
Probably will be a bourbon, maybe before the end of this stream. But I think I was texting you earlier. I needed to get a nap in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's just so dark and rainy and cold, and just okay. I got sideswiped on the way home from work today.
No, the Tesla.
No, not the Tesla. This was a company truck.
So good. No problem then.
Somebody else's problem. But still, like, I had, like, so we're still standing out there in the middle of the cold rain in downtown Houston, waiting for the cops to show up for like an hour to do the report. Because this isn't even like, oh, you have an option to just swap insurance information, take a bunch of photos and whatever. No, this is a company truck, so you have to like follow all the
you got to go down the checklist.
Yeah, you got to go down the checklist, and it could be your job if you don't. So follow all the rules. So yes, your boy's starting off tomorrow with a drug test. Just always want to start the day.
Yeah, my dad drives a work truck as well, and that's what he always says is like, yeah, weed's legal, but you smoke it, and then the next day you get in an accident, and all of a sudden it becomes your fault, even if it's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not. They gave the other driver a ticket, so it's not my fault. But I would still get fired if I failed the drug test. So boys and girls, if you're looking for a very good career in a good job that does not require a college education, it's called non-destructive testing, and you can get in it very easily. And the only test you really have to pass is a drug test.
That's a hard thing to pass nowadays.
It can be, especially for the kids, So people are, there's like CBD oils, and people say, oh, there's, this is all like legal stuff. It's just, it's not worth my career.
No.
To fail a test because the guy at the weed shop said that this oil or whatever would make me test positive.
Right. What's the one that there's a Delta 8, Delta 9, something like that?
I don't even know. Like, can't go there till I'm retired.
Yeah, there's some like fake one. That's whatever. We can move on. So what did you want to lead us off with? I know you've been busy. I've been busy. Holidays. Hope everyone had a good time. But did you have anything that you wanted to jump right on?
Oh, well, confessions being good for the soul. Man, I really enjoyed taking the plug out on the finance and the finance news this last weekend.
Wow, we disconnected.
Yeah, and it extended to the regular. It just extended into this week too. So like today, maybe in the afternoon, I finally started like maybe paying a little attention again. Could have been because it was like a 3.5% up day. That'll get your attention, but yeah, that could be why, but we'll see. So yeah, so kind of on the things in the news, like I was still like not plugged in. We had some other big family stuff take place. Events, not the good kind. My niece was at the pediatrician for strep throat, and they got some blood work back from the doctor who said you need to go to the emergency room right now. I'm pretty sure it's cancer.
Whew.
Yeah. So the next day she had a diagnosis of childhood leukemia at 9 years old. So, Children's Hospital of Atlanta has apparently done a bang-up job, and they sent her home this afternoon in less than a week. 2 rounds of chemo, got a port installed, got everything's lined up, treatment plan.
Wow, on top of it.
They're on top of it.
Shout out to the healthcare workers, man. They don't get enough love, but the healthcare workers, they've really been through it, especially the last 5 years. I know there was lots of support there in the COVID year, but they're really kicking ass just all the time. So shout out to the healthcare workers.
They're apparently really cocky out here too. They're like, this is like, oh, don't worry about it. This is the cancer that we actually know how to beat best. So, yeah, I'm pulling for them. Okay. And the Atlanta Falcons also showed up to sing her Christmas carols. So I am now stuck in the position of becoming a slight Atlanta Falcons fan.
You know what? I might have to root for them too, especially if the Bengals don't make the playoffs, which I'm sure we'll talk about later in the back half of the episode.
So then the other news I was paying attention to all weekend was the Lane Kiffin drama at my LSU Tigers. So
yeah, we can definitely dig into that when we get to the football on the back end.
Yeah. So not been paying too much attention to global politics, or we could have had thermonuclear war. I might have missed it. We didn't, did we?
No, we did not. But we do have some drama llamas doing some drama mama stuff, which is our favorite duo here of Sam and Elon just going at it. I'm not sure where Sam thinks he's finding all this money from to build all these businesses. He doesn't even have enough cash for the business that he's already got. And he says, "Can I have another, please?"
I mean, bro, you're getting lapped. Well, maybe not lapped, but you're getting passed quickly in the tech space, and your competitors have already figured out how to monetize and you haven't. So you need to get on it. Nobody likes your stuff. Except
they like it. They have users, but like I was saying 6 months ago, they do not have an ad base, and that's not something that you can stand up with the snap of a finger. You do have to go and find these advertisers and figure out what it is that they want and who they want to advertise to, and sort to their needs. You can't just have a bunch of users and then flip an on switch. Okay, we're monetizing now. Boom, done.
Yeah,
it'll get there.
Some companies have been able to do that when they build out their like DoorDash, right? I mean, they built up their business for something, and then they were finally able to okay, now we're ready to fiddle with the last number. Oh, look, now we're profitable. Okay,
but that's not an ads business, though. That's a volume business. You pay for the service, right?
Yeah, but ads is still like, we know how many people they're going to have. They're going to have, we know how many users they have. People are going to be knocking down their doors to on their platform for, and they'll pay whatever it costs to get on it. I mean, I'm sure Elon will be advertising on ChatGPT.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Shopify, that integration is huge, and as a Shopify shareholder, I definitely like that, and I think that they'll figure out how to, make it low friction so that if you do search for something. But I do find it ironic that there was the clip of Sam going around saying that Google basically, because they're paid, he made this inverse correlation between the quality of the search and monetization, and said if you're getting paid, you're essentially guaranteed to be getting a worse answer. So come to our platform where you're going to get the right answer. But now they're starting to do advertisements too. So which is it? Is advertising good for models or is it bad for models?
Well, I don't disagree with his first statement. I find that a compelling argument. I have no faith that a model that is paid to tell me that is paid to provide answers is going to tell me an answer that is not going to provide it more pay.
Okay, so I can break this down. The first way that I want to approach it in terms of counter argument is there's going to be overlap. So if you say that I'm looking for a running shoe that is this size, this color, this price, it's probably going to lead you to the right answer. Not whoever paid them the most, but the right answer. So if that's Saucony or Brooks, that's going to naturally show up in the results, and there's going to be overlap between what the best answer is and what the advertisers are willing to spend on. If you think of Venn diagrams, there's going to be a lot of overlap there between who is trying to sell you the product and the best answer. Because quite frankly, a lot of times it's the same thing in terms of who is advertising the product and what the best product is. And then the other thing, actually, I forgot my other point. I think it was just the one point.
Well, there is a world where I think that you could be correct. I just don't think it's this one. If that running shoe doesn't advertise at all, if the best running shoe doesn't advertise at all on the platform, what are the odds that it will give me the answer? Like,
yeah,
say,
that's a good point.
Reebok doesn't advertise on ChatGPT, but Nike and Ons and Brooks and whatever other brands are out there, and they all do. New Balance, what have you. But Reebok is actually the best for me. Is it going to tell me Reebok is best for me? No, it's not. Because the model's not incentivized to. And we already see that ChatGPT is, in particular, is very exposed to its rewards that it's seeking. It is, it's, I can't think of it. It's very supercilious. Like, it will tell you whatever nice thing you want to hear about yourself as long as you keep interacting with it. It's like the Facebook doom scrolling algorithm, but except it makes new content just for you. It's piped directly into your dopamine generation.
But so if OpenAI goes for that model, though, how's it going to be any different than Gemini?
I think that better capitalized companies, or companies that have better capitalized companies, they can afford to have slightly different missions. Okay. And I'll rotate off of Google on this, since I'm never really sure what Google's mission is. It used to be "Don't be evil," but we don't know what it is now.
Well, we can bring it back. So put a pin in that.
We can run that back. But I think the best example, though, of the CEO, the leader, founder communicating mission is like an Elon company, right? He has everybody at that company, and they may be delusional to everyone on the outside, but he has everyone at that company mission focused on what they're doing. They're saving the planet with EVs, or they're all in on robotics now, or they are going to Mars, or they are, hacking into the brain. One way or another, they are moving in and in the same lockstep direction towards the same goal. Now, they're all going to have their own little squabbles and politics inside, but everyone is, by and large, moved towards the mission. And that's something that he, in particular, is very good at. Now, it sounds like he's got a new mission with Grok and XAI, and now Grokopedia that he's got a mission on. And who knows what the results of that will be, but he's moving in that. He has all the people moving in that direction. So if you have people who have all the money that they could want or need, and I mean, that's an exaggeration because they're still raising money at XAI too, right? But what I'm saying is, companies that are better capitalized, they're not out there, and this is their only vertical, this is the only thing that they do, they can afford to be a little more maximally truth-seeking and becoming a little bit more of a foundational pillar on truth, on the underlying of our answer machine, than somebody who has to show the ads, like a Facebook or a Meta would have to be.
Sure.
They'd be stuck in the same thing. They've got to show you the ads. They've got to generate the ad revenue.
So I think people get in their head that the business model is that their job is to shove the ads down your throat. And I think that's more so true with Snapchat and Meta than it is with Google, because with Google, you do have the answer machine. That's really what it is at this point. If you just want to call it search, you want to call it chatbot, answer machine, I think is really the full scope of it.
I call them
If you're constantly promoting the products, specifically products, if you're Googling what is the best product and it's constantly giving you garbage products because those are the highest paid, you're going to suffer usership issues. Like people aren't going to want to use that product anymore. And this ties in because there's a balance there between monetization and actually making the product usable. So how this ties back into what Google's mission is that they want to have information accessible to their users. At the end of the day, their North Star, Sunder said this, their North Star is the user base and being able to provide a good experience to those users. So they don't want to kill the golden goose. With all that said, if OpenAI is going to an advertising model, this is a home game for Google. No one's done web-based advertising as well as Google for the last 2 decades. They have so much experience there. And, we can get into the whole vertical integration thing and cost to serve and
right. Yeah.
The long tail end of it. But I just think, Sam is going to be able to monetize this, but it gets a little bit tricky when you're talking out both sides of your mouth saying advertisements are bad. And then you're also moving towards advertising.
Yep. And then you also want to start a rocket company and divide your attention and do all those other things that no, you don't.
Hey, maybe Sam's the GOAT and he does it all. He could be Elon 2.0. You never know.
No. We only get one of those. We only get one of those per generation, or maybe one of those per century. It might be longer than a generation. Go ahead.
If you had more on this, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think if we end with, good point, Julie. I think if we end up with chatbots being the final form, we have failed. Like the whole AI experiment has failed. The whole thing is worthless. I equate chatbots to and this is well before you probably not even know what I'm talking about here, Austin, but I would equate that to Usenet. Do you even know what Usenet is?
No clue, man. No clue. Okay. Now, I used to chat with, my 6th grade girlfriend on MSN. And do you remember AOL? Of course, you remember AOL. But yeah, that's how I was hitting up the honeys when I could barely read words.
Okay. Now, Usenet was back in the day, you would have to find, and you wanted to look at a picture. You wanted to download a JPEG. You would have to find, you'd have to browse to a message board, which was not on the web. So it was like a third-party app for it. And you would connect to the server and it would have the subject, kind of like a Reddit forum now has this thing, but it might be users.alt.crazy.pictures, right? And then you would have to find all 20 portions of that JPEG, and then you start downloading it, and you come back the next morning, and it would have assembled that whole picture and put it together. You could also exchange text on the bulletin boards. So it was bulletin boards for the internet, not even message boards, but bulletin boards. But you could multi-post a picture and a single JPEG, and it would take all night to download and then assemble it.
We take all that for granted now.
Yeah. Well, the people who didn't live it don't understand what it was. So I equate ChatGPT to being the Usenet feature, which is so old and archaic that someone who was born one generation later, one half generation later, doesn't even know that existed.
Right.
So, if you think about kids born in 2030 should not even know that chatbots were a thing.
Well, I was having this discussion with
not use them or use something better instead of, but not even know that they existed.
Yeah, I think I was having this discussion with a friend of mine. People are expecting, because ChatGPT took off so fast, it was like a boom, a gunshot went off in a race. I think a lot of people are expecting that their monetization strategy would be the same thing, where like there's this singular moment where like, boom, we've done it. Sam is profitable. People forget that the internet and software in general took decades. It was like a decades long build out. Like it takes work and work and work, and you have to keep reiterating, building features, building. I mean, even a company like Shopify, you just have to keep building.
Not just leapfrogging, competing with one another, but working in tandem. I mean, you had the whole Wintel dominance, right? Windows and Intel working hand in hand, partnering to iterate and develop the ecosystem that they had.
Another similar example was Microsoft and IBM. They were working in tandem for quite some time until IBM realized that Microsoft was coming to eat their lunch.
Well, I mean, IBM made processors, right? And they made really questionably good operating systems until Windows was just better. It was just easier. Sure, people who loved OS 2, but as a guy who had to use like the computer labs when I was a freshman in college, you either had like Sun Systems Unix machines or OS 2 IBM machines. You didn't even have Windows computers yet. Like if you went to the store and you bought a computer, it had Windows on it or Windows 95. Windows 95 came out when I was in college. But like if you went into the serious computing lab to do serious computing work, it was either Sun Systems or IBM OS 2 machines. And now they're all I haven't been to a university computing lab lately, but I've got to imagine they're mostly Windows machines.
Yeah. In the same vein, did you want to talk at all about some of the inaccuracies you're seeing, like from LLMs in general, or even the YouTube Gemini features? I know you were picking on them a little bit. Did you want to talk about that at all or no?
I want to save that for another episode. I feel like probably a little bit more of a deep dive.
Okay.
I know what you're referring to. You and I chatted about that earlier, but I would like to take that example and maybe find like 3 or 4 more of the same thing and kind of put those all together, and we could put it in a clip and let it run for the viewers to kind of that make the case. But yeah, certainly there is an issue there. Again, we're having problems with it at work. You know, the news this morning about Copilot sucks. Like,
shocking.
How was this news? Like, Microsoft was already where it was with Copilot sucking, and literally everyone knew it. Like, what's one person or one little hedge fund gets something published, and now everyone was like, "Oh my God, Copilot sucks." No, Copilot sucks, and we all knew it.
What was Benioff calling it? Clippy 2.0?
Yeah,
he ended up being right.
Not wrong. Speaking of Benioff, didn't they have results today? Did they kill it? Was it Shopify or Salesforce that went today? It was S. I told you I've been zoomed out.
It was not Shopify. Let's see, I think it was CRM. I see a bump at 405 after the bell. Let's see. Yeah, they had a beat. Look at this. Look at that. I thought you said that you were checked out. Here we are. We've got results.
You'd get Julie on here. She can just tell us what happened since I wasn't paying attention.
Ooh. All right. We want some results. Here we go. 11%.
Wow.
Revenue of 9%. Yikes.
Big number. I don't understand why people are paying for it, but they're paying for it.
Yeah. I mean, friend of ours still likes the company because they spit out a lot of cash flow, but I think this is definition of thin software, steak dinner, just doesn't quite get the job done. Parasitic level of what they offer in terms of value. And it is required. I don't think we can get away from it, but like the days of them growing 15 to 20%, it's just really hard to see that happening. And a lot of what they've been doing lately has been just acquisitions. And they say if you can't build it, buy it. And they've done 3 acquisitions, maybe more, in the last 24 months. And
Yeah.
2 of them at least were AI companies. So it's pretty clear that they're not able to build it themselves to me.
Well, they are going all in on AI too. I don't know if you've heard about their workforce requirements. Something to the effect where Benioff has issued the edict that if it takes you longer to do the job with AI, take longer to do the job. Like we want you using AI for every step possible. Now, their ultimate product here is the AI sales agent, which is apparently so good that they have to use real salespeople to sell their AI sales. So I that just seems like a conundrum to me, and that premise is why I don't invest in them at all. But I do and I don't particularly like Benioff as a CEO, but I do appreciate the fact that he's out there and he has a vision for a fully AI enabled company, and he is pushing people to do it. Where it's like you have to prove if you need to hire somebody, you have to prove that AI can't do the job before you can hire somebody. That might make the AI is coming for our jobs people scared, but I don't see how it is. It's forcing people who do not want to deal with the clunky Usenet of AI right now that gets things wrong and takes longer to figure out how to prompt it to get it to spit out the answer you could just do in a pivot table yourself easier anyway. But it's forcing his people to learn how to use the tools. And there's something to be said for that. So if you work at this company, you will come out of it. And you've been successful, you will leave there knowing how to use all the AI tools, which, I have to tell you, where I work, that is not the case.
But so the way that I think about AI software and applying AI on top of software, because that's really what it has to do, is like it's using AI, it's attaching to all the software that's the foundation. So if your foundation is built in properly, it's not going to work. So C Copilot, C, C Perplexity, like you really just have to build on top of really solid foundation. And if your software 1.0 stack is messed up, your software 2.0 stack is not going to be much better because it's just going to replicate all the issues that you're seeing in 1.0. So what I mean by that is Salesforce has lots of issues with it. Just as a user of the platform, it's disconnected. Like it's not super integrated. There's nothing close to an ontology. So that just seems like a really uphill battle to me to try and force AI. Whereas you have companies like Shopify that are doing it the right way, where they understand that you have to build from first principles and that everything has to be set up in a way that it would be amplified by AI, not necessarily like you're just using AI to say that you used AI, if that makes sense.
Shopify, y'all got me multiple times last weekend. Multiple times.
Really?
And I'm on Shopify tracking I'm on the app because it's tracking my deliveries of other stuff, right? And while I'm looking at that, it's showing me like super discounted 3D printer filament. And it's like, ooh, I could use some PLA silk in a color I don't have in case I ever need it in the future. And it's 50% off right now. Bye. So I think my Shopify cart right now has like 80 items in it of stuff I just did not buy last week, but it's still sitting there and it's begging me to complete the purchases on them.
Here it is.
Yeah, Shopify and PayPal have got me. They both are delivering pretty good value right now to me as a user of the app, just keeping track of my like Amazon orders and my deliveries, especially this time of year when there's a lot of stuff moving around.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
various different companies, because like you'll have it in your email and your UPS or your postal service tracker might be in a different place. And Shopify has all of your shipping info, whether you bought it from China or, a mom and pop store or Amazon. It's all in the same app. And you keep track of all your incoming shipments.
yeah, it's very well built, and that's what they really take pride in, is building software for merchants and users. But the last few days it's been jumping around between the top 3 spots, which is exactly what you want to see on Black Friday weekend.
Yep.
I know they had like a 2 or 3 hour outage, and a lot of people are.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah,
I heard about it. I didn't notice it, and trust me, like I said, I was on that app all weekend.
Yeah, it was specifically between 11 a.m. Sorry, make that 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern on Black Friday. But it worked perfectly fine after that once they got it fixed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all the doorbuster stuff probably already kicked off earlier that morning, and most of it was closed, or it's real time physical locations. But no, I mean, I know I had a Saturday morning sale that was 6 a.m. to noon that I did some damage in, but no.
Speaking of Black Friday, did you see App Lovin' got some momentum? It got some steam again.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was regretting a little bit the selling at the bottom, because I feel like when you and I were talking about starting a position, I had started one, and then they got the lawsuit and then a couple other bad pieces of news, and I was just like, you know what, I don't have it was a little bit of invest then investigate, and I had not even had a time to investigate yet, and I'm seeing like 15% of my investment erode, and I'm like, I don't understand what I have here. I'm out.
Yeah.
Let me all the other volatility, everything else is going crazy. You got to know what you're holding there, and I didn't know what I was holding, so I exited. I mean, I hate to say I'll re-enter late. Oh, good Lord. I hate to say I'll re-enter later, but it's probably one of those that I just was not able to catch at the right time. Yeah, when I sold is when everyone should have been buying, as usual.
Were you selling down in here, Doug?
Oh yeah, the low to mid 5s.
Yeah, now it's all the way back up to 660. Now this is a high beta
totally
name.
Recovered. I think I still have one share that I kept to track it. And I mean, that's just like the ultimate like middle finger in your face, like, haha, aren't you a dope?
We've all been there and done it, but that's why conviction is so important. You really do have to know what you own. Otherwise, you're going to get shaken out down here at 520 instead of just riding through it. Because this is what high beta names do. When you're investing in a growth stock, this is just what they do.
It was just really bad timing for me. I didn't have time to start digging in really on what the company was doing and understanding it. I just thought I had found the time to get in, as it were. And obviously that wasn't the case, but
well, what better time than to read the profile here? So I'll read this from CNBC, and then I'll try and turn it into English here. So their marketing platform, the company provides end-to-end software and artificial intelligence solutions for businesses to reach and monetize and grow their global audiences. It advertises solutions to include a comprehensive suite of tools, including App Discovery Max, Adjust World, Axon Ads Manager. App Discovery is powered by Axon. It's AI-powered advertising engine, and matches those advertisers' demand with publisher supply through auctions. So that's an important thing to note, is that they own an auction platform, and then they're using AI recommendation engines to help match potential buyers to the publishers who are looking for conversion. So this is a really, really powerful tool that wouldn't have been possible 6-7 years ago, because
how fast it is, right?
Well, it's not speed. It's just because of the recommendation engines across the board have just gotten so much better. So you see it with Amazon ads, you see it with Google, you see it with Meta, that the recommendation engines have gotten really good. Even Jensen gave a call out just last week or so that recommendation engines are becoming one of the biggest use cases early on in this AI build out. But, you know, they also own the Axon Ads Manager platform. So what you can do is if you're a direct-to-consumer advertiser and you want to sell a widget and you want to know what that return on advertising spend is for each one of the advertisers. So if you want to advertise on Meta, if you want to advertise on Google or AppLovin's platform themselves, they have an ads manager window that can actually let you know what those numbers are going to be. So it might say Meta is going to be 50%, Google's 30%, AppLovin is 35%. And then you can start to make marketing, budgeting, resource decision making. You can figure out what you want your marketing budget to be on which platform based on what those projections are going to be. And the more accurate that gets, the more powerful it is. So you can imagine if you're looking at a number that's really, really solid there, you're going to spend more money because the only limitation is the amount of cash you have in the bank. If you know that you can spend $10,000 and get back $30,000, well, shit, let's just up the ad spend to $50,000 because we might get 200,000 back. So it's, and then when you get more ads on the platform, it gives even more data to the ads manager to help reinforce the learning aspect of it. So the more advertisers that come on the platform, the more data that they're going to have to be able to improve that recommendation engine. It's a little bit of a head fuck in terms of like how it all works. But the important things to note are this is an engineering based company. So their OpEx is flat. They don't have a sales team. It's really, really lean. When they first started getting in business, they could not get funding because a lot of their ads are on mobile games. Who wants to be involved in ad tech when they were starting their come up in 2015, 2014? Nobody. Who wants to be involved in mobile games? Nobody. Well, let's just go ahead and put those two things together, call it AppLovin with this goofy name. They couldn't get funding. So what they had to do is be lean from the start, be product first, and then build it out from there. There was a really good conference from UBS yesterday, which I do have a clip for. I'll see if I can pull it up, just maybe a short one. But the CEO has started talking about this. Almost no one understands what this company does. And they are, as of today, a $224 billion market cap company. Now, there is the SEC probe that you were talking about. And that takes, its own due diligence to see whether or not you're actually concerned about that. Obviously, I'm not. I use that as a buying opportunity. But this thing bounces around and gives you lots of buying opportunities. It goes under 500, then it bounces up to 700. That's just how it goes. That's the AppLovin spiel. That's the very short and dirty.
All right. So what's well, I'll do some TT on that again and see if I can find a entry point. Because it certainly has been something that I have seen, obviously move, and I wasn't in it. And it has been, kind of neck and neck for the last couple of years with even something like a Palantir or Robinhood as far as its explosive growth. So it definitely has your attention as just an investor, right? But you're just watching, you're like, well, I don't see behind the scenes on it like you have had an opportunity to see.
So for those not aware, this is their revenue. So absolutely explosive revenue, 98% and growing, incredible. And then you get down to their profit margin. And because of that incredibly lean structure, they've got 45% margin and expanding.
Yeah.
So they're printing money at this point. The valuation's not that bad either. You'd think that you'd be paying like 150 PE or something like that for a company like this, but you're not. So basically what I've determined at this point is either they're just straight up lying and the product doesn't actually exist. And these advertisers, like they're just making up numbers. But I'm going through and doing channel checks, and that's absolutely not the case at all, because they're audited by Deloitte, so good name there. And then you can go on X and find advertiser after advertiser after advertiser who's using the platform, and they're increasing their ad spend. So they're using small dollar amounts, they're trying it out, they're seeing how they like it, and then they're coming back and spending more on the platform their second and third and fourth time. So you're getting an increase in the amount of ad spend per each successive use. So you're getting growth within each cohort. It's a good one to look into, I think.
Well, like I said, it's definitely on my list of something I couldn't hold it at. I couldn't hold it because I didn't know what I had. And I had a little kind of come to Jesus moment with myself, realizing, yeah, you've probably done that in 4 or 5 different names right now all at once, and that's not really smart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely trimmed some stuff I was bullish on but didn't understand, that was down, and just kind of like being a turtle and pulling back into my shell a little bit, get back into what I know a little bit better, and kind of flush those out a little bit. I did. Did you make any trades today?
I did. I made 2 trades. So one of them was planned, and the other I didn't know I was going to make until I started doing some more digging. First one I did is I bought Netflix. New position for me. I've never owned Netflix, and they have sold off about 30% from their highs. Or sorry, closer to 20%. They were at 133, and now they're down to like 104. And
split price.
Yeah, that's the split price. Exactly. Yeah, that's split adjusted. They have a lot of catalysts coming up. I think them expanding margins at the same time that they have a 35 forward PE gives them a solid floor. Not financial advice, folks. Do your own due diligence. I think, if you were to send Netflix down another 25%, buyers would have to step in. Like, how far down of a forward PE is Netflix really going to go? They're getting sold off because of that Warner Brothers Discovery deal. And I think that's really short-sighted from Mr. Market. I think that adds a huge catalog that would make the platform amazing. One of the other catalysts that they have is pricing power. So if the economy stays strong and the bull market continues, Netflix can increase their price, I think, by 50%, and they would barely lose anybody. Because if you look at what you get from a Netflix subscription and then you compare it to Paramount Plus or Peacock or even the Disney bundle, I think you get a lot more out of the Netflix package. Now, I like Hulu because they have a lot of comedy on there in terms of like animated shows, but Netflix owns stand-up. They have all these original creations out there, like your favorite show, right? K-pop Demon Hunters, that has just taken the world by storm. They just have a lot of good IP.
So there was a lot of talk about it in the chat this morning during the Mets Open because the price was getting hammered, which I'm sure you're aware of as a brand new shareholder. You're like, oh, why? The day I bought is the day it goes down 7%, right? Yeah, it's happened to me before.
Nailed it.
So they have they have a lot of execution risk, executing in things that they've been proven, in my opinion, to not be good at. When it comes to I think the market is expecting them to win, and that's why the stock is down. Or I don't know. All right, I can think about this the other way. The market is expecting them to lose, and that's why the stock is down, and it's going to go to Paramount, or that somebody else is going to get. That they're going to expect them to lose the bid. I just haven't seen Netflix be successful with anything that they are going to have large expenses coming their way if they do win the Warner Brothers Discovery stuff. And they're not even bidding on all of it, right? So some of it still is going to get chopped off anyway. Like all the old Turner channels and all that stuff is not even part of the package they're bidding on, as I understand it. So does that mean like the NBA stuff that's all there is not coming? And like, so I mean, even understanding what the deal is going to be would be a problem. But I just look at the outlays they're going to have moving forward. Like they're going to have dang near, and I'm making this number off my head, but it's going to be $1 billion for them to make this Harry Potter show. And
yeah, but then they'll have, think about it, they'll have Harry Potter on Netflix indefinitely. Like it'll pay for itself within 7 years. And
yeah, but Netflix sucks at making shows though. They're not good at making, 12, 18, 24 episode shows. They make one season of 8 episodes every 2 to 3 years for their shows.
Sure, but what I'm saying is the existing IP and existing shows that they could just simply add to the platform.
Oh yeah, the back catalog is what Netflix needs. That is pure customer value, but that is all declining in what it's going to buy you anyway. Like, sure, they're going to get Friends. All right, that made Netflix. Netflix and chill was basically we're just going to put on Friends or The Office and chill. Right, that's all that really meant. Now they're going to get Friends, which is fantastic for the platform, and people will buy it just for that. But they're going to be required to build out Harry Potter. They're going to be required to build new properties for the Lord of the Rings. They're going to be required to build new properties for James Bond. They're going to be, that's already. That's with Paramount. There's one more. Oh, and then DC Universe. Superman, the James Gunn reboot, that did not go over so amazingly. For Superman, I don't know if James Gunn is the guy to, have the quirky group up people with Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman. Those are pretty serious groups there. And those are going to be the things that are going to cost Netflix billions of dollars to make, and I just don't see them.
I think they'll make money from
it to get money back on that.
All the biggest movies of like the last 7-8 years have all been reboots, and these are all extremely good brands. So for those listening,
they're great. Got
Pokemon, Scooby-Doo, Tom and Jerry, Wonka, Looney Tunes, Happy Feet, Gremlins, Lego Movie, The Iron Giant, The Matrix, Mortal Kombat. You've got Minecraft. I didn't even know there was a Minecraft movie. You've got Dune, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings.
That's how good the movie. Yeah, Game of Thrones is the other one. Like,
I'm not the target demographic for Minecraft. Okay, so I wouldn't have heard about it,
Yeah, but we tend to get lost in the sauce when we talk about who's the target demographic. Who's the target demographic for Marvel films? Everybody.
Yeah.
Right? When you make a movie that costs $700 million, your target demo is everybody. Like, think about Pixar movies made before 2016. The target demo for that was everybody. Right? They had the animated stuff for the kids. They had the funny stuff for the kids. And they had all the jokes that you would not understand if you were a child, that you had to be an adult to understand the humor.
Sure.
And I mean, they just don't, no one is successful in making those anymore. And Netflix is not either. And their movie efforts are very low effort anyway. One of the movies I enjoyed most recently was The Old Guard, which I didn't even want to watch part 2, the second one. But The Old Guard, I mean, they obviously made this in an off, like they rented an empty office building and shot all the action scenes in an empty office building that hadn't been built out yet, because they were able to get it for super cheap. And it's obvious. But, sometimes you go to see community theater plays and you can still get a lot out of it at a black box theater. Is it the same as going to see, Shakespeare in London? No. On the West End? No. But I mean, you can still get a lot of value out of stuff if your filmmaker knows what they're doing. The problem is, and Netflix they finally got a movie they actually had to sell, which was K-pop Demon Hunters, which they weren't ready for.
I think I disagree with that assessment, though, because Stranger Things was them.
No. Not even close. Stranger Things is not even a top 10 show for Netflix.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. We think it is because season 5 took 15 years to make. I mean, 11 has a child of her own now. Like, the actress for 11 has a child of her own now. These kids started when they were like 9 years old, and they're still supposed to be kids, or very, very young adults or teenagers. But even like K-pop Demon Hunters, they didn't know what they were doing with that. They had the number 1 movie in the world. They had the 4 of the top 10 songs of the year, and they were so short-sighted because they don't make movies. They had no merch. You know what you can't go out and buy for your nieces who really like K-pop Demon Hunters? K-pop Demon Hunters dolls or action figures.
So you don't think they'll be successful in monetizing the IP like Disney does?
They already failed it.
I think they can figure that out.
I mean,
I'm looking through the list here of Netflix originals. A lot of one-season episodes, or a lot of one-season shows here.
A lot of one-season shows. And even stuff that's good. It's like, well, you only made 8 episodes, so I'm out. And then you bring it up again 2.5, 3 years later. I'm not even going back to watch the last 3 seasons to figure out what happened. I mean, they destroyed The Witcher. Talk about having something ready-made out of the box that you could have just filmed shot for shot from the video games. They ran off their star. They have not been able to execute on genre. And that's what they're buying, or that's what they're purporting to buy, and that's what they're going to have to put a lot of money into to maintain the licenses that they're spending all this money on. They got to keep putting in money. And I don't see them being able to do that. Now, Wall Street used to love the subscription model because it was steady revenue every quarter, and it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. Now they all love ad. Now Wall Street's changed its mind. It all wants advertising. It wants to see the ad revenue growing. Yeah. At the cost of the subscription revenue, by the way. So,
and the businesses have pivoted and going for this dual model. You see YouTube do it, you see Amazon do it, and they like this dual model now where, you can buy your way out of the ads if you want, just so that, you're not running off users. But if people want to watch the ads and, save their $10 a month, they can do that too.
Yeah. Look, I'm fine. Well, you say you have Hulu. We do not have a Hulu subscription. Whenever we go to start, we really want to watch this. Oh, it's on Hulu. Oh, no, I guess we won't watch it. I have the app on the TV. Like, we could watch the ads, but we're just not going to.
But you have a Netflix subscription.
But I have a Netflix subscription, and a Prime, and a Paramount, and a Peacock. And sorry,
everything except Disney. That's funny.
Hulu's left out. But who is silently starting to offer a lot of good value is Walmart. The Walmart.
Well, here, I'll let you talk about Walmart, but I would just quick want to hit on this.
I'm just seeing this as a customer. They are starting to show me that there is value here as a customer.
So this came out after the Bell Paramount raises breakup fee and Warner Brothers bid to $5 billion. I don't think Paramount would come out and say that unless Netflix was basically inking the deal. They're saying, hey, if you guys do this, we're going to make it painful for you. So that raises to me, that raises the likelihood that Netflix ends up winning it.
Well, that'll be $5 extra billion that they just passed from Netflix to Paramount then.
$5 billion.
Paramount does know how to make the good shows right now. Taylor Sheridan is a gold mine of intellectual property and writing. I mean, he's got like 6 shows going on right now at the same time that are all in production. He's writing for all of them. It's amazing.
60 billion, 65 billion. It is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but like Netflix can afford to do it. They're $415 billion market cap company. And I think over the long run, this is still building out. It's like a long-term tailwind. They have pricing power. If we get into a recession, I also think it's counter-cyclical because $10, $12 a month is not going to be the difference between you paying your mortgage or not. It's just not. And it's instead of going to
pay a mortgage.
Yeah, but instead of going to the movies for $80 for a family of 4, you can stay in and watch Netflix.
You can watch Netflix, yeah.
Yeah.
On your 80-inch TV that you bought at Walmart. Yeah.
So yeah, talk to me about Walmart. What are you seeing? Like you're getting lots of value out of Walmart Plus?
Yeah. The value at Walmart Plus is not insignificant. It is priced more than competitive to Prime. You get a lot of free delivery. You get a lot of free shopping. You can also go to the store and have the cart already built for you. So you have all the convenience of having the physical location to go to. You have all the convenience of the delivery, or most of the convenience of delivery that Amazon has. They bundle, and you're like, well, Prime also has all the movies and everything. Well, Paramount is included with the Walmart Plus subscription. So it's very getting close to one-on-one. Yeah. Julie says, yeah, they have same-day delivery too. Like they're not letting Amazon run away with this.
Well, that's because Amazon is their fulfillment, right? My understanding was that you order on Walmart.com and Amazon completes the fulfillment.
I haven't had that be the case.
Okay. I do know there's a partnership. Let me look into that while you continue to talk.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see that. But so I'm just thinking as a consumer, Walmart Plus is providing a lot of value. Yeah, Julie says Walmart Plus fulfills locally. Yeah, and so probably if they have it in their store, so they don't have to go build the giant distribution centers even that Amazon does because they already have them in the stores.
Yeah,
so not just the Walmart stores, but also the Sam's Club stores.
Right, that is the warehouse.
If you're a Sam's membership, then you're doubly loaded up. Yeah, so like H-E-B or whatever your favorite grocery store is, there's a delivery fee based, on that, but Walmart grocery delivers for free.
So here is a
so
press release I saw
if you don't like Amazon for some reason, and I'm an Amazon shareholder, so I hope you like Amazon. And I'm not a Walmart shareholder, so I hope you like Amazon. As a customer, Walmart ain't heard no bell.
Right. Yeah, I think that might be the dumbest company that you could ever short, I think.
And they're doing drone delivery and all kinds of stuff too. And they've got the parking lots to launch the drones out of.
Okay, Amazon is expanding its multi-channel fulfillment service to support merchants' sales on Walmart, Shopify, and Shein.
Yeah, well, at some point, shouldn't just FedEx and UPS just get bought by Amazon anyway? Like, come on, why are we running multiple carriers that do the exact same thing?
I don't think they would buy them though, because it's going to be just like a bunch of old warehouses that aren't optimized for the way that they want to do business. So if you're Amazon, you'd rather if you're going to spend money to build out logistics, you just build it, which is what they've been doing.
Well, I'm just saying you just buy their revenue. Like, yeah, you let all that stuff go. Just buy their revenue. Monopoly. Monopoly, though. Yeah, well, I mean, they're always going to compete with the U.S. Postal Service.
And I think there's also regulatory risk that they have to take into account, not now and not in the next 3 years, but if they bought FedEx and UPS, if the Democrats win in 28, well, now they have to deal with that. So,
well, I mean, maybe they say your Act Blue won't run on our AWS if you mess with us. I mean, let's not even get into the. Have you heard about this stuff going on in Minnesota?
Yeah, well, AWS allows Blue Sky to run, even when people were talking about Charlie Kirk and basically making even more threats after Charlie got shot. Chad from Palantir was even asking, how is it that AWS doesn't have a problem with Blue Sky? Because it's not moderated in the same way that X or YouTube or Facebook are. It's moderated similar to Reddit, where you just have pick'ems and you have like sub-community administrators. Yeah. So there's a lot of basically stuff that would otherwise be illegal on most other platforms that's happening on Blue Sky that AWS is supporting. So if you're counting on AWS to do the right thing in terms of that, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, though, is like the one thing I can count on them to do is be defensive of Amazon. So, if the Blues want to go after Amazon, they're like, well, I mean, all your donation processing is processed not through us. So, how you like them apples? Like, you want your money, right? You want your targeted ads. You want your message getting out there. Well, it goes through us. That was another thing I never understood. All the orange paint people, like they get their money from somewhere. They put their social media up from somewhere. Like somebody is paying for it and getting paid for it. Like, why are we not cutting that off? The Bush administration famously went after online poker. And while they couldn't make the online poker illegal, they made the credit card processing for it illegal. So that just ended all basically online poker. They went after the credit card processing. So like, I don't understand how companies or organizations that are doing illegal activities are allowed to still collect money to do those illegal activities.
Well, now that cryptocurrency is, mainstream and legal, you can bypass that whole lever, right? That was a lever that the government had, a lever of control, essentially. And now that you've got a democratized system in a way, you can just bypass all that.
Well, they also, it was the Obama administration, though, that made it. Well, they passed regulation to not allow banks to allow users to use their debit cards to purchase cryptocurrencies. So that smacked Coinbase pretty hard back in the day.
What a 180. I'll tee you up for Minnesota here because I have not followed this story quite as closely. My understanding at a high level is that we've got a congresswoman who gives speeches in front of a mural. I almost feel the need to just like pull up this clip here, but behind her as she's speaking, behind her at a rally, like a political rally, she had the president of Somalia behind her, and at the front of the podium, on the front end of it, again, Somalian type stuff. You had Somalian flags all throughout the crowd. And she said, our president, and she wasn't talking about 1600 Pennsylvania. She was talking about a guy in Somalia. And then I guess a bunch of stuff came out this weekend about Walz and a bunch of fraud. Can you talk to this a little bit more?
Yeah. So I'm just going to give like the 30,000 foot level here. But the fraud essentially goes back to the PPP loans. Do you remember those in COVID?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were basically supposed to be loans for medium small businesses to keep your people employed and keep paychecks coming to them while we force you to not work.
Yeah, and there was a lot of abuse there.
Yeah, so there was a lot of abuse there, and here's just one of them. So in Minnesota, there was a state, uh, you know, a state organization that started funneling money to NGOs to distribute food, because the private enterprises that were forced to not operate, that we call restaurants, they were forced to close. So they were trying to pay their people with PPP money. At the same time, the state of Minnesota was paying these NGOs to sell and serve food because people couldn't go to restaurants or get access to food. So then the NGOs at some point just said, you know what, this whole serving food stuff is really hard, but we're going to keep collecting the checks. And so hundreds of millions of dollars were scammed from the taxpayers of Minnesota. And do you know what happened with a bunch of that money? It got donated back to the Democratic Party through Act Blue.
So that's the same organization.
That's basically a money laundering scheme that the Blues.
Act Blue, this was the same one that during the LA wildfires, Gavin Newsom and the mayor of LA and every Democratic politician was going out there saying, if you want to donate to the wildfires, click this link. And it wasn't a donate to the wildfires, it was Act Blue.
Yeah. Any political text message you get from Democrats, and I've donated to them before. People think I'm like hardcore MAGA Republican. No, I get the text messages from the Dems because I donated to Dems. So I'm on their text message feeds, and every link you click takes you to Act Blue. Oh, you get an email from somebody, they want you to take a survey. It's really just a front for Act Blue. That is how they collect their money. And there's just there's something funky going on with that organization.
Can we watch an Alex Karp clip real quick?
We can. I have another one for you though.
You cue that one up. I've got this one.
Okay. I
haven't actually heard this clip. I saw some of the quotations from the clip though. I'm sure it's going to be a good one.
Okay. I'm just going to put this in the back screen, and you can pull it up.
Okay.
When you see what it is, it'll be easy enough for you to find.
Have shifted their politics. The idea that what's being called progressive is in any way progressive is a complete farce. I've been progressive since the beginning of Palantir. I'm continuing to be progressive. I grew up in a highly intellectual, mostly Jewish, incredibly left-wing environment. And every Saturday and every Friday, I heard a lecture about how the conservatives are going to destroy this country with illegal immigration because it's going to undermine the fabric of the American worker. That was 50 years ago. That's what it means to be a progressive. And being a progressive doesn't mean just, it feels so good to be involved in dysfunction, things that can never work, a form of socialism that's never worked, having no meritocracy. That's not progressive. That's honestly cowardly. And most people half my old party knows it. They don't speak up. It's bullshit. It will never work. And it does not help. The biggest problem with that is it's not helping the poor people that they claim to serve. If you think that's helping a black person in the inner city, you're ridiculous. The last thing anyone in this country needs is a dysfunctional educational system and handouts that have never worked and are not going to work.
Okay, let me.
Yep. Well, Alex Karp can just talk, and I'll probably applaud anything he says.
Not to be a cheerleader, but like, man, is he on the money just so often? He's right. He's right. So,
and he's right because they really still try to call him racist, and he's a black Jew. He's half black, half Jewish, and they really try to call him racist. Moving on.
It's interesting. What do we have here?
I just saw this right before we went on, and Mr. Beast is launching financial services platform.
Now, I had seen a platform about this a few months or a few weeks ago,
I have never watched his channel. I don't know what he does, but that is the fakest AI smile. That's like the Henry Cavill getting the mustache removed for Superman. Those Superman shots. That is an AI smile they put on Mr. Beast. I think. Or it's Sam Altman's twin. I don't know.
The funny thing about this headline, because when I saw it a few weeks ago, it originally said bank. It didn't say financial services. It said bank. And the funny line to this was, yeah, let's put our money in the bank with the guy who gives away all of his money.
Yeah,
because that's what he's known for, is just making it rain. So
right. Well, I just saw this and was like, Amit, you missed your window, bro. You missed your window. You had a chance to jump in there, and now Mr. Beast just went ahead and jumped in first. But yeah. So this is just like, so is this the top signal? Like, is this the top signal?
I don't think so. He's a smart guy, man. He'll figure it out.
I mean, but it's something he has no expertise in. Like, if you'd have told me, oh yeah, he's he went and got his his certified financial whatever his CFP and stuff and certifications while he was working on blah blah blah, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty cool. He actually went and did some work and did some studying and learned some stuff. He's just leveraging celebrity. He's the Kim Kardashian of YouTube.
I would not underestimate Jimmy. And it's funny that you mentioned Kim Kardashian, because everyone thinks of her in a certain type of way, but she's a very successful businesswoman. Jimmy's a very successful businessman. He's blown up that channel so huge. He's got the Beast bars. He's got all these different verticals. He's got the merch. I'm sure he's made some good connections. I'm not saying that like I would be an investor in this company, but I definitely wouldn't write him off.
We know that anyone with 100,000 subscribers to their channel is getting probably 10,000 subscribers to a channel is probably getting at deals left and right.
Julie makes me laugh.
I'm not a Kardashian fan, by the way.
Yeah, I've never once watched the show, but I appreciate good business acumen when I see it.
I mean, at some point, it's just like, oh, you're the top guy out there. We're going to advertise with you. We want to partner with you. And eventually you start running an empire, but you're not actually doing the financial services. So you're putting your brand on it, but you don't know anything about it. Right? Well, I mean, you could have told me that he was launching a going to look to, what was the other headline we started with? He's going to look to start or acquire a space company. And I would have thought it's more believable than this. But what is Gen Z, Gen Y, and Gen Z are going to put their money with this guy.
So what does Snoop Dogg know about wine, and what does Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson know about tequila?
Well, I'm sure one of them drinks one of them.
Sure, but does that mean that they know how to produce it, how to store it, how to facilitate warehousing?
It means they have enough people already in their network that they can just make an appearance and it sells.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying about the financial services company.
Yeah, and so I'm saying, good luck putting your. But there's a difference between buying wine from Snoop Dogg and investing with Mr. Beast. Because if my wine goes to zero, I'll go buy more. And if I don't like it, I'll throw the bottle out and not buy it again. If my money goes to zero, it's zero. Yeah. A space company / BTC treasury. Yeah. Julie, I think you want to start a Bitcoin treasury. We should look into that. That's the chart behind me, by the way.
Oh, that's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. And that
the Bitcoin. I sounded like such a boomer when I said that, the Bitcoin.
Oh, wonderful. That is set up to rip, brother. That is set up.
So are you buying right here?
I have no cash.
Well, you said you made some trades today, right?
Yep, I did. I
liquidated some Amcor to buy some Meta.
And some more UVix, right?
And UVix, because I buy UVix. I'm buying UVix every day that it's down. Especially when we start getting close to 8. Like I'm just starting, like less than $1,000 a day, just a couple $100 a day.
There you go.
It just keeps averaging down, The position's like 10% down right now, but I'm not worried about that because when it spikes, it'll be plus 30 or plus 40. So maybe I started buying too soon, but I'm new to this strategy, right? So I think maybe I started buying a little too early. But
now there was some geopolitical news that could potentially, get things going. I know Putin talked, and he basically said, if Europe wants a war, they got one. I'm ready to rock and roll. And the other thing on the Western hemisphere was Trump saying, and Hegseth backed this up. He basically said, hey, if you guys keep sending boats, we'll keep blowing them up. And I think a lot of people are wondering why the administration is taking such a hard stance on Venezuela and why we're trying to get involved in there. So I'm going to read something a friend of mine sent. This is from Twitter account Walter Kurt. Venezuela sells 90% of its heavy crude oil to China.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, the crude makes up 5 to 8% of China's total oil supply. If we cut off Xi for Maduro, the Chinese have a very limited option to replace that supply. The limitations on Russian oil means there's no additional capacity to their north. So what are they left with? The Saudis. The same Saudis who are best friends with President Trump now. Now you know why Operation Southern Sphere is all about. You know what it's about. So basically, we're trying to make energy more expensive for China, and we're just trying to, make it a pain in their butt to.
There was this. And you're too young to remember this, but there was this whole like hippie thing because it was George Bush taking us to war in Iraq after Iraq invaded Kuwait. There was no blood for oil, no blood for oil.
Mm-hmm.
People were chanting, with the hippies were chanting in the street. Even as a 12-year-old, I knew that was stupid. If there's anything in this country or in this world worth going to war over, it's oil. I'm sorry, it is. It's too much of modern life is built on it. It's not just energy, it's also chemicals. Every freaking thing in your house is made from oil. And I mean, the keyboard you're using, the mouse it is everywhere. Modern
anything plastic.
Completely. Not just plastic, anything silicon that used plastic or energy from the oil to get made, right? Or it got cleaned with oil, or it got lubricated with oil. Like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So if there's anything worth going to war over, it is oil. And Trump is actually playing chess and not checkers. He's willing to fight Venezuela, where he has a huge power delta, versus confronting China directly, so he can pick on Venezuela and just try to continue to isolate them there, playing a little bit of Go versus the Chinese. Who knows if that'll work out for him? He may end up forcing the Chinese too far back to the Russians. But when Putin threatens Europe with a war, remember, he invaded a country and forgot to bring gasoline and food for like 3 months. Just saying. The Russian generals are not really known for their ability to plan logistics. Russia is an army that is based around defending large swaths of flat land and using railroads to move around. Okay. They ain't ready for NATO smoke. They ain't ready for it.
Well, so at the beginning of the administration, there was
that's why he wants Ukraine, by the way, because Ukraine is a gateway to the flatlands of the Russian steppe.
Well, and to the sea.
Well, the Black Sea port, but also
He needs he wants a geographic barrier, the Black Sea and the Carpathian Mountains. He wants to be isolated, because otherwise you could just run tanks. If you could just offload tanks in Ukraine and they can just run crazy over flat land in any direction for 1,000 miles.
Well, Ukraine's also a breadbasket too, right?
Right.
So that's important.
And then it's up to an air force to track them down. Well, the Russian Air Force, not that good. The Su-57, the really cool looking plane that was in Top Gun Maverick, yeah, that's an awesome looking airplane. It's probably pretty good, but there's only like 20 of them. So given the volume of air space above the nation of Russia, how much do you think those can defend? Not that much.
But in terms of your UVIX position, like those are some sleeping dogs, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You got Venezuela, China, Taiwan. Now Japan is getting in the mix.
And then you have Donald Trump. Like, I mean, he can just tweet and give you a day to collect, right?
Yeah.
Like, or, New York could elect a communist, or, any particular thing you want. Like the VIX is going to spike. I'll just share my screen here. I mean, any of these VIX spikes. Can y'all see my mouse too?
We cannot see the mouse, but you do have a really. Oh, we can see it now. Yeah, you've got a really solid arrow there, though.
Okay, yeah. So that was the New York election day. That was Mamdani elected. So you can see how much the VIX liked that. Not at all. But yeah, like look at all these exits. Like we're just going back. Like all you need is the VIX above like 18 to pay off. Because I'm getting 2x leverage on it, right? So like, yeah, plenty of exits for a reason no one could guess at this point. Like,
even as something silly as the yen carry trade could send this thing up.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, this is like in the last month or last 2 months, like October 17th, and then the last couple of weeks anyway. Multiple opportunities to get exit there. So Julie, this is something I was trying out with $10,000, and I know I was posting in the group chat when I was taking exits on like half the position. I would sell off half the position at a time, and now I'm gonna go in a lot heavier. So it's gonna make the bad days when Robinhood takes a 7% down or Palantir takes a 10% hit because of the volatility. Well, we'll just eat that. And now I also know that I'm also gonna get an exit just about every quarter anyway, just because Nvidia has earnings. Did I explain that to you?
No, but does that follow the premise of if they succeed, they're fueling the bubble, but if they fail, they're crashing the whole economy? Is it that idea?
Kind of, but so first of all, look at this spike here. Get rid of Mamdani elected. That's just a curious.
Just right before the Nvidia earnings, everyone.
So this day. Or this week rather, this was the week of Microsoft. What was it? Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Meta all reported this week. When you have that much of the market having an implied move, whatever it was, plus or minus 7%, that is going to spike the VIX. Just because people they're placing their options orders on both sides, right?
Right. And it's big time volume.
Yeah, and it's big volume, and it represents a huge amount of the market. So that's going to spike the VIX. As soon as they report, good or bad, the VIX is going to crush because all the uncertainty has come out. Oh, now we know what the move was.
Right.
So we have another implied move again coming up here on NVIDIA. Look, they elected a communist on this day, and the VIX got to 22. NVIDIA not reporting earnings, the VIX went to 23. Just on NVIDIA earnings. And then when they reported, it crashed again. They crashed again that day, only to get spiked up by the yen carry trade starting to kick off again. But like, just NVIDIA reporting was boom. It just crushed that day.
Well, it would have been even higher, I think, had it not been for the fact that Jensen came out, what was it, a week ahead of time and said, hey, we're going to see, it was at GTC in DC. He said, we're going to see $500 billion in the backlog in, what did he say, the next 5 quarters?
Yeah.
So that let a lot of air out of the balloon in terms of vol.
Yeah, a little bit. But you still end up with an implied move. So if you still are looking at the options prices, the week of earnings, when you look on the Friday on the back side of it, you'll see the IV that's built into the price. And as that IV gets higher and higher, the implied volatility, then that number is going to not only as you get closer to expiration go to zero, but it's also going to come down once the uncertainty of what the earnings comes out of the market. So the fact that over here you had like 4 of the biggest companies in the world all reporting within 2 days, and over here you had the biggest 8% of the S&P in one company reporting that one day come out. So to me this looks like a foolproof plan where you could just buy UVIX all quarter long and you're going to get an exit. It may not be 20, 30, 40%, but you could probably get a 10 to 15% exit just on NVIDIA earnings. And if you compound that every quarter, that seems like a pretty good play.
Yeah. No
Not
notes. No notes.
Yeah, not to mention the other chances you might have due to yen carry trades or geopolitical shenanigans. Or
shenanigans is the right word.
Yeah. Or somebody makes a post that says TPUs are gonna take the place of GPUs and NVIDIA is going to zero because Meta announced that they're using some TPUs.
We still don't have confirmation on that yet, do we?
No, the Zucks confirmed it. He said, of course, like we're running their model because they're running Gemini, older versions of Gemini because they want to see how it works.
So Zuck did confirm it.
Yeah, they need TPUs to run it. They want to know how it works.
So they're just trying it out, or they're actually like implementing it?
No, I mean, from what it looked like to me, they're running it internally just to see how it works.
Okay.
Just like Ford bought a Tesla to take it apart and see how to build an EV.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Especially if they're trying to get into the business of having their own data centers, specifically for AI.
Right. So yeah, look, I know we're Google bulls here, especially with Zoe in the chat now too. And I am a Google bull. I'm not at the same level you guys are. But come on, TPUs, they're not coming for NVIDIA anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. I think
you've got a fixed size pipe anyway. This is the amount of silicon that TSM can build per quarter.
Yep.
So much of it is GPUs, so much of it is TPUs. If you're telling me all of a sudden that NVIDIA's orders are going to get squished to the side so that TSM can build more TPUs, I got another thing coming for you.
There's definitely a bottleneck there.
And then also, if you're buying TPUs to run chatbots, it tells me you're kind of done innovating, and I don't see any of the big cats being done yet. Google is its own, because it's vertically integrated. It's its own thing, but their ability to sell the TPUs to other parties is not what some other of our friends who are analysts think that they might be.
I mean, maybe that becomes like a slice of their business, but maybe more so just to build the ecosystem. I don't think that.
Keep doing research, like, and if you've got some customers for it, and if you can run your own model on it, great. But you're not. Iran is not coming up and going to Google like, dude, y'all got any more of them TPUs?
Yeah, not happening. And I'm on the same page with Zoe here. I'm not shorting NVIDIA anytime soon.
They're different products. A TPU can do one thing, it does it very well, and it can do it efficiently. A GPU can do everything.
Yeah. And as Jensen lays out really well, like, it is the Swiss Army knife, but it's also the infrastructure that they have all around it. And it's the architecture that is all encompassing. Whereas TPUs are a specific use case for AI workloads and the capacity that they're slightly more energy efficient. That's kind of what it comes down to. But at the end of the day, like, the best overall product is still NVIDIA. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I did own some NVIDIA up until that GTC conference. I actually sold it that day. So far, I sold the top. I sold it at 209.
Wow.
It was a smaller position for me. So a little bit of timing luck there. But, I looked around and I said, they're talking about selling GPUs to China again. Jensen just gave a $500 billion guide. And then they had just inked the deal with OpenAI. So, like, there was a lot of positive catalysts that had just happened. So I'm like, okay, that does it for me. I don't know how much bigger they can get from the rest of big tech. Like, no tree grows to the sky. So I don't think that they can outrun the rest of big tech, seeing as how those are their customers. But yeah, Jensen's the GOAT. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No. And like I said, TPUs, they're not coming for GPUs either. If you want to run a chatbot, if you need to do A plus B to do chatbots, we're going to build you an ASIC and it can do A plus B.
Right.
If you make a discovery that's like, oh, if we add a little C to the sauce, so we have A plus B plus C, and that gives us agentic abilities now, well, guess what the TPUs can't do? They can't do the C. They can only do the A plus B.
Now, I had a second trade that I made today.
Okay.
This one might lose me some friends. I sold today all of my Robinhood. I can see you're stunned. You're like, what are you doing?
Okay. I mean,
now the idea is,
what did you do? Want cash, or you just?
Well, it's cash for now.
Okay.
I do have a house for sale that has some burn to it. And
okay.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily need it. I sold it because I wanted to. I didn't sell it because I had to. But it's nice to have that extra cash. I wanted to dial back my exposure to the overall market. As I hinted at earlier with my Netflix sort of counter-cyclical argument, Robinhood is perhaps the most concentrated towards a bull market. If we get a bear market, Robinhood's getting smacked. If we have a bull market, Robinhood is going up. That applies to crypto as well. And that also applies specifically to options trading. And so those two things, options and crypto, are a good chunk of the revenue. When I look at monthly active users, it's been pretty much flat for Robinhood for quite some time. Yes, they're slightly growing funded accounts, but that's not growing that much either. What's really been growing is gold. Sorry?
It's about to kick off again. Go ahead.
Bitcoin? Yeah. So talk to me about this chart here, and then we can get it.
I want you to finish your point.
Okay. Yeah. So Robinhood's done a really good job of keeping their operating expenses flat so that they can grow their margins. But about half of their revenue is transaction based. And when you have a ripping bull market like we do, and the stock goes from 8 up to 133, we're now at a 55 PE on Robinhood. So I think it's kind of hard to justify that it is cheap. Vlad is amazing. Nothing away from Vlad. What he's built is awesome, and how their software works is incredible. And I think long term, they'll continue to do well. But I think this might be a local top in the short run. And am I going to buy back in? I'm not sure, but I don't believe in crypto. I just don't, to put it plainly. Like, yes, I understand all the utility for it. You don't have to explain crypto to me like I know nothing about it, like your grandma. Guys, I get it. But the whole DeFi thing has really died out. People can't figure out which crypto they want to be in. You know, some people say it's Ethereum, some people say Bitcoin, some people say both. Some people are still buying garbage coins. Robinhood Markets has the ability to eat DraftKings and FanDuel's lunch, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Robinhood has grown their assets under custody in an exponential way, but I think a lot of that could just be from the fact that assets have gone up, and a lot of Robinhood users who are loyal to the platform, who are active traders, have been long, and they've been long in call options. So that is also going to contribute to the AUC. The other about maybe 45% of their EPS is coming from net interest income. And that's, to me, one of the most positive parts of their business, because you know that that's going to be recurring. However, if rates come down significantly, you're going to be suffering a lot on that net interest income. You might make it up in transaction volumes, but you know, at a 55 PE, it gets a little bit tricky to grow into that, because they're not growing their customer base. It might seem like it because we're on Twitter all the time, and everyone on X uses Hood, it seems like. I do think they have the best platform. They have a really talented team. They've got great marketing. But when you combo all these things together, the other thing that you can combo in there is they've got all the marketing that they did to get all the assets onto the platform, especially in retirement, all those 2% and 3% matches, those get paid out over time. So Robinhood doesn't have to recognize the expense all at once. They actually have to pay that out over 5 years. So we've actually yet to see if that unit economics is going to make sense yet. I'm sure they wouldn't be.
Aren't going to pay all of it off either. You know that, right?
Like how do you mean?
Most people are not disciplined enough to put all their money in there, get that transfer bonus, and leave it in there that long. Like if people are taking money out, then they're not paying that.
Well, it's a 5-year payout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't see why they would take their money out. I think it will be sticky. I just don't know if the amount of dollars that they actually had to pay to acquire those customers is going to be profitable to those specific customers. So like if I have $100 million and I transfer it to Robinhood, that's $2 million that they have to find. That's not a cheap marketing expense. And I don't think they're going to make $2 million on me as a customer unless I'm active trading and I'm doing lots of buying and selling of options or crypto that are high take rate stuff. If I have $100 million in VU and they pay me $2 million, they're not making money on me. They're losing a lot of money on me.
Yeah, but if you got $100 million, how much margin are you borrowing? Because you're not selling to pull your money out. You're borrowing. When you want money, you're borrowing against it and you're using margin to do that. And they're making money on that.
They are. Their margin book is up to $16 billion now. So if they have any...
And that will go up before it goes down.
Well, and the other thing I worry about too is the underwriting on that. Is how confident are they that if we do get some sort of a macro pullback, are Robinhood traders the most exposed, and is the Robinhood margin book exposed? And based on some of the trades that we see being made on Robinhood accounts, it's kind of hard to argue that that margin book is not exposed, right?
Well, yeah, but whose isn't?
I think in particular, though, like the amount of option activity and crypto and like the companies that a lot of Robinhood owners are purchasing and holding, they're not exactly loading up to the sky on Microsoft. Okay, like they're buying some companies that you might even call junk. Take that for whatever you mean. I'm sure we've all got companies.
They're buying Oklo and Open Door. We know this.
Yeah, so I think that's what leaves their margin book a little bit more exposed.
And they're doing it on margin, which means Robinhood's getting paid.
For now, unless the loan goes bad.
Well, for now, but they've got the security backing it that they can force them to sell to make good on the loan. That's the beauty of margin.
But if the securities aren't worth anything,
well, they don't go to zero before you get a margin call.
No,
you get a margin call before they go to zero.
But you can have write downs, right? Like they can lose money.
Yeah, but you as a margin, as a guy trading on margin, like as soon as like what they're going to lose money on is not the portion where they margin call you. Like they've got buffer built in there for their profitability, right? So they're gonna make you exit, or they're gonna force you to sell before they lose money.
Yeah, I think that all just depends on how on top of things the risk management team is.
So that is so disturbing.
Yeah, that's
like I am a huge nuclear bull, and I'm telling y'all, Oklo is like, it's vaporware. It's the pets.com of power. It's nothing. They have never tripped a spark. They've never bent a single piece of metal. Okay, sorry, we're on Hood.
Well, I guess just what I worry about in general as a theme is like you've got a lot of new investors who haven't seen a bear market because they started investing in the last 3 years. They're using margin. They're doing crypto. They're buying stupid companies. I just worry about that a little bit, especially as the customer base hasn't really grown significantly. Let me pull up a chart here of.
You see the chart I made just for you, right?
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's do that. That's great. That's great.
That's just for you, brother.
and it's clipped. It's on YouTube, so you'll be able to come back here in 2 or 3 years and tell me that Robinhood selling it at a $110 billion market cap was a giant mistake. But I feel sufficiently exposed to a bull market is, I guess, how I'm viewing it, because I've got Shopify, AppLovin, Google, Amazon, and SoFi. Those are my core positions. So, and Palantir, of course. So if we get a bear market pullback, like I'm already going to be feeling it. Same thing with a bull market. If we get a bull market, I feel like I'm going to be there participating as well. Now, what I wanted to pull up here was the MAUs, because this is one of the scariest charts that I think I've seen as a Robinhood bull. That's not what you want to see, right? I think everyone can agree on that. That as everyone's talking about this giant flood of money from one generation to the next.
All right, throw out everything until 2024, because this was.
Well, yeah, you had lots of GME people.
Stimmy checks. That's stimmy checks and people running out of stimmy checks.
But
I guess it throws the scale of the chart off.
It does, but the growth hasn't been, at least in users. AUC has been off the charts. Revenue has been off the charts. But in terms of users.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I don't care if a bunch of people with $2,000 in their account are not opening. Like, think SoFi is after the Henrys.
I'm after the. I want Robinhood to be after the ones that are already rich.
For those who don't know, high earners, not rich yet. Henry.
Yeah, and we're looking for high earners, rich now. We're looking for Hearns.
Yeah, so I feel like the upside is, at least in the short to medium term, a little bit capped here. Especially with my stance on crypto, I feel like anytime crypto trades violently up or down, Robinhood gets hit alongside with it. And that's just a reality that I'm acknowledging. If you want to talk about crypto real quick, I'm going to use the restroom and I'll be right back.
All right.
I'll throw up your chart here.
All right. I'm just showing the people how we are set, because since Austin is not in on the cryptos, folks, we have a really, really good setup going here. We're probably going to take one more leg down, but this is going to be really, really good. We are going to do something like, where's my tool? Where's my tool? Close enough. We're going to do something like this. And just go up. Yeah, it's going to be something like that. Sorry, that's really bad. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. I think we're going to come up here. We're going to come down here. It's going to be like this.
So you've got the bottom being formed.
Yeah. I think we do. Look at this. I mean, you got this big volume candle here. You've got the reversal on the RSI that was below, that was 21. Jesus Christ. You've got the MACD flipping over. You've got this this bottom wick here bounced perfectly on this like little red trend line I had, which goes back to like these other big like secondary bounces from a decade ago. So it's not, it obviously hasn't held perfectly along the way, but it has, when it has bounced, things have bounced violently off of it, and it has proved to be a level that price action cares about. And then we also have a more localized trend floor in this orange line, like that. I don't know what that one was for.
Now, do you think, here's a question that I have for you that I was thinking about when I was deciding what I wanted to do with my Robinhood today. Do you think that all the people, not all, but most, say 95% of the people who are going to be interested in crypto, and you could add stocks in this list too, anybody who was ever going to have interest in this has already joined in the last 18 months of the bull market, has already begun to participate? Or do you think that there's new capital and new people to be found that for some reason they did not like Bitcoin or stocks last year, but now they do?
Yeah, for sure.
So like, are these new people to the market, like 18-year-olds, or who are they?
At some point it becomes undeniable. Yeah. I mean, you have generational turnover too. You have people who are having their first jobs and they're going to be buying stuff. And you got to remember, it's a currency, so it can go up. It doesn't need good performance, right? Well, all it needs to continue appreciating in price is for people not to sell, essentially. Or just buy more than they're selling. And what we're seeing is obviously the Bitcoin treasuries are locking up Bitcoin. The big heavy hitters are having to lock up and hold Bitcoin in the ETFs, that they can't sell it. They have to hold it against the ETF values. And then one of the things you and I were talking about, probably one of the first conversations you and I actually had on a phone call, which spawned this eventual podcast that we're doing, is the fact that we are nearing the point, and I don't think this has gone through yet, but we know the Trump administration said they're going to do it. You're going to be allowed to use Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as your collateral or as part of your assets that are being evaluated when you're buying a house. So, right now we might have people that are crypto rich but are house poor. So they're they're people, particularly younger generation people, who can't afford to buy a house because they're not approved, and that approval process is not allowed to count any of their cryptocurrency holdings.
Well, you've also got dereg in this way. What Julie mentions here, Vanguard's going to be offering it. The incumbent brokers are coming around.
Well, the reason I left Vanguard was because their CEO said we'll never let people buy the Bitcoin ETFs.
Yeah, it's a new CEO now.
Yeah, and I left that, and I took a seven-figure account out of Vanguard that very day and transferred it to Fidelity that day. Dougie was at Vanguard. Yep.
Yeah, you've got SoFi who's going to roll it out as well too. So I do, like, in the short term.
Yeah,
I see.
So they're going to
I see it. I just don't believe in the story, but I like your thesis here.
Yeah. So and once the banks, they're all going to be exposed to it, right? So once a bank lends someone the money to buy a house based on their crypto holdings, well, now the bank is essentially exposed to that crypto.
Yep.
So the fact that they're also buying it up and storing it in other treasuries, yeah, the price is only, I'm not saying it won't experience volatility to the downside, but if you forecast 15 years from now, it ain't lower than it is today, not by a long shot. It's gonna be 10x again from where it is today in 15 years.
So you're saying IBIT calls? That's what I heard.
I'm saying calls are not long enough on a timeline for me. Like I don't like to buy really long dated leaps. I just hate paying. Now, if you said IBIT spreads, that might be a better play.
That way you don't have to deal with
that way you're selling the time value back that you're buying.
Yeah.
From the time decay.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, so if you got good stuff on it, but y'all, I'm just like locally though, I think we have broken this green trend line, and you can see we're actually back to, and this green trend line also broke above the 20 moving average. So we're back testing it right now. We bounced off of it again, and we're flirting back and forth here. This arrow is just for illustration purposes, but yeah, we're back above this trend, and we're probably going to see so what we don't see is we don't see RSI that recovers from under 30, like going just straight up. So we're probably going to see RSI hit the 40s again. We just hit the middle, almost like 50 right now. Probably going to hit 35 or 40 again. So it'll probably come back down and test this trend line again. But I expect it to stay on top of it. We might come up here, we might come back down to this level one more time. But yeah, we've broken the trend, I think.
It's definitely one asset of a kind. Like, there's nothing like it, because like Julie mentioned in the chat, there's a lot of people, myself included, who have zero Bitcoin exposure. There's also people who have 1%, 2%, 3%. Like they keep a very small amount in their portfolio. And anytime that someone's going to add to that, whether it be a country, a corporation, which they haven't largely done, but if a country gets involved, I know Germany bought and sold. El Salvador
is on Bitcoin.
Yeah, but that's because their currency failed, not because they chose Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of other countries that could try it too.
They could try it, yeah. But anytime that you have buyers stepping in like that, it does take supply off. But I'll tell you, one of the major things that keeps me and I think a lot of other buyers on the sidelines is things like MicroStrategy, where you just have large amounts of leverage that it's almost perceived that they're the reason that the price action is being driven up is because MicroStrategy is driving the price action by just taking out loans that are eventually at some point going to have to be paid back. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Well, so let's examine that real quickly. You see this bottom red line, 66,783. Bitcoin has never retraced below election day of the preceding presidential cycle. And the 74,188 line, this was bounced off of here. It was a local top here. It was a bottom here. On big volume days. So it was a resistance, and then it's a support, and it's been a support here as well. Do you know what the 74,000 range is? That is the MicroStrategy. That's about the MicroStrategy average. So there's only a $8,000 delta between the MicroStrategy average price and like what we can reasonably expect the floor to be for forever.
But you're saying if they go under 66,
so then having yeah, and they also have enough liquidity on hand to handle like 2 years of being upside down and still paying out their dividends and all their requirements. MicroStrategy is not a liquidity problem. Like if they decide to sell, like if something happens to Saylor and someone else gets in charge, and Saylor's concept of when he dies he's burning all his tokens or something, say he doesn't die, say he gets in a car accident and someone else takes over running the company because he's in a coma or something, so his will never gets executed or whatever. But I mean there are things that can happen, but that's still temporary. That's just a extra liquidity event, and they're not going to sell it all on the same day. They'd end up getting almost nothing for it.
Yeah, but the moment MicroStrategy sells any and that becomes public, there's going to be a race to the exits on that particular day. It might just be like one bloody day or one bloody week, but it's going to be awfully bloody.
Look, Mt. Gox owned a larger portion than MicroStrategy does today, and Mt. Gox had to sell off everything. So, like it's not really a threat. It's more something that's perceived as a threat than actually is, because we've had a run up. So everyone, because as soon as something takes off and starts running up, everyone starts looking for the reason it's going to fall apart, and then they go on X and talk about it.
I think it's different than Mt. Gox though, because Michael Saylor is predominantly the spokesperson for Bitcoin. Like he is the captain of the ship, despite his bad memes.
He's always been, and he won't be. He won't be in the future. Like it'll be someone younger. I mean, it was Andres Anatopoulos for a decade, and you don't hear much from him lately. But or Roger.
You could have Jack Dorsey carry the torch.
Yeah, I mean, Elon could get back involved in it, and you don't know like what could happen. I mean, he's kind of a techno futurist. I think he probably sees Bitcoin as kind of passe. And look, there's a lot of ways Bitcoin's still a little bit of a high school science experiment that's just run really far. But there's so much talent that's finally able to like legitimately go into this space now. And it doesn't have to operate as shady offshore companies. That I'm really excited about it.
If it
can, Bitcoin it's basically a nonprofit though, because it's just the currency. There is a nonprofit organization that pays people in Bitcoin to continue to develop and maintain the network, and they are very selective in the computer scientists that they hire. But
I I think if it gets going and it gets some steam, you've laid out a good case for why
It's
it
just
could
a
go.
predator of liquidity. So, like,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, some of our favorite YouTubers, every time Bitcoin goes down, they're like, why? It's not supposed to do that. This is a blah, 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 blah. And I know they're being a little tongue in cheek, but it does always rub me the wrong way. Because like I said, this is still an infant. It's still in its infancy. So yeah, it's not working as it's not working as intended yet. It hasn't eaten all the liquidity in the world yet. It will. It just hasn't.
yeah. Not even close, because the adoption in terms of like actually using it for payments hasn't come to fruition. And I think that there's some other cryptos that, are trying to vie for that type of use case. So Bitcoin bulls have largely pivoted towards the digital gold narrative, and less so more the DeFi narrative that they were talking about in 2021. I think the yen carry trade is like a short-term issue, but yeah, if you're thinking in decades, like this is all just noise. You don't care about any of it.
Yeah. When somebody was asking earlier, is IBIT exposure to Bitcoin? Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's an ETF that buys Bitcoin. If you buy one Bitcoin, the ETF has to buy a Bitcoin that day. Before I'm not 100% sure what the rule is, but I think it has to be, they have to close the transaction that day, like based on how much volume that their fund happened that day. They have to close the end of day, the end of trading neutral. So if you buy IBIT, they have to buy Bitcoin. If you sell IBIT, they probably have to sell Bitcoin. Now, what a lot of the big boys have done is they partnered with Coinbase. So Coinbase has to actually ended up buying and is holding a whole bunch on the backside. So they were able to buy very low cost Bitcoin that now and custody it for the big boys, so they don't have to pay. So to move the Bitcoin into the fund, they have a sweetheart deal with Coinbase to move that in at a lower cost. So that's how they're making money.
And I'm not a Coinbase person. I've actually never listened to an earnings call other than that silly joke that they did last time making fun of prediction markets. That's their whole thing is institutional crypto, right? For broker dealers.
No, Coinbase is
I know they make money on retail as well, but is that going to be like their long-term value prop?
Now they have big boys. Now they have the BlackRocks, the Vanguards, the ARKs. They're doing well. ARK's not doing custody there. ARK's doing their own custody. Which is why I also buy through Kathy's fund. But yeah, I mean they're huge. They're not going anywhere. Coinbase is acting basically as the bank of Bitcoin for all those massive ETFs. And those are just holding places. Like, we're going to get to an era very soon where energy is the real currency. And, we're talking about, you can't trade dollars back and forth and, it's not working as a payment system. Well, the AIs are just going to trade energy back and forth with one another. And what represents a unit of work done with energy? Bitcoin.
See, and that just gets a little bit too sci-fi for me. For like most normal people, I think they just want to know that they're paying in like a somewhat stable currency that's going to be worth roughly the same yesterday and then tomorrow. Like it can move, obviously, but like it needs to be mostly stable.
Well, they want something that's going to go up. Like that. So that actually, the success of Bitcoin as, price go up actually hurt it as in its ability to function as digital cash. But, as the last Bitcoin is mined and, I won't be alive anymore, but, as the system progresses, it will be able to function that way. It just doesn't right now because people are speculating on the price of it.
Well, and that's the part that worries me is that, you have the potential for greater fool theory where it's just speculators trying to resell it to other speculators, and so on and so forth. But all this to say,
it's still all based on work that is done with electricity. So
How does that make it inherently valuable, though?
because electricity is valuable, because electricity has a hard value put on it. So at the bare minimum, any block is worth the electricity it costs to produce it, and a secure form of payment storage or of value storage, or a secure form of payment is its own value. You pay a fee, you pay a 3% fee, or the merchant does, every time you swipe your card. Somebody's paying for the secure digital transaction. You're paying your bank for your your safety deposit box. Like, these things cost money. They cost electricity. Bitcoin only costs electricity.
Well, so to that point, and you know more about quantum than I do, but to that same point is
I'd hack the
quantum-
Fed before I hacked Bitcoin.
You what?
I'd hack the Fed before I hacked Bitcoin. I'd hack the nuclear missile silos and hold the world hostage. This is just a story. This is not real, FBI. I'm just saying
that is a risk, though, right?
Hold the whole world hostage by controlling the nuclear missiles in the world. And
But
Bitcoin
say I'm a quantum hacker, and I go hack the Fed or whatever. I'm gonna have so many police cars outside my place. If you grab some Bitcoin and just like a small enough amount that like not that many people would notice, like is that even a possibility here?
No. Well, I mean, the ledger is public. Everyone has their own copy of the ledger. So you have to control, and Bitcoin is based on consensus. So that means at least 50% of all of the nodes have to agree that this is the public ledger every time a block is produced. So you would have to control more than 50% of the network. You'd have to hack 50% of all the computers that are all individually secured with the security protocols. You'd have to hack 50% of them to control the ledger. To say, oh, I have one wallet and I'm going to move a small enough portion of the total Bitcoin supply that no one is going to notice into my wallet. And then, bro, if you can pull off a quantum attack on Bitcoin and you're just trying to pull out enough money that no one notices, you're doing supervillain wrong.
You went to the wrong supervillain school of supervillaining.
Right. You failed supervillain school. I mean, it's like, you got to try to steal the moon if you have that much. You have that much technical ability and that much power, and no one knows it. Like, you're like, oh, all the police cars would show up and blah blah blah. Well, what do you think? You don't think they would be able to figure out what your address is when they realize that, 50% of the electricity from the East Coast got used at one address for the time that this hack took place?
I guess
you built a quantum computer in secret and operated it in secret and no one knew. Bruce Wayne,
whether or not they'll get away with the crime is a different question as to whether or not, like, at one point will everyone wake up one day and crypto will be down by like 60% because there was a successful hack. And yes, they might catch the guy, but then it calls into question the encryption of it, right?
Well, that's Ethereum. Ethereum had a hack. I mean, Bitcoin didn't have a hack. They didn't hack Bitcoin. They hacked the Coinbase. And so they were able to then get people's accounts. So when you have all your money sitting on Coinbase, Coinbase controls your account. If they can hack Coinbase and get basically your encrypted username and password, and they can just run it against your wallet.
I'm going to borrow from Charlie Munger here. For me, this is the too hard pile.
Okay. I will, but there's one thing that you should really know is that the top 1% of all the wallets on the blockchain have less than 0.3 Bitcoin. So if you own 0.3 Bitcoin, you are a top 1%er.
So it's dispersed, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I'm also saying it's still very, very new. It's still that new. Where 0.3 Bitcoin, and we don't have to go that far back in the Wayback Machine to get to the point where 0.3 Bitcoin was just $3,000.
Well, when companies start buying and selling goods with a cryptocurrency and they start transferring money around with cryptocurrency,
All it's going to take is you can pay your taxes in it, which you can do in several states already.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you can pay state taxes in a couple of states. What states accept Bitcoin as tax payment? Colorado, Utah, Louisiana. Other municipalities, some cities: Williamson, North Dakota; Miami Lakes, Florida; Detroit.
Are these for state taxes, or can you pay your federal return?
I mean, look who's in the White House. Do you really think David Sachs is not going to get that done before he's done there?
So you think like within the next few months before this tax season, you think that happens?
Not before this season. But Arizona has a proposal to pay your taxes in, other states, Arizona, Ohio, Florida have proposals for it. Yeah.
That's
So it's already legal in one state, and due to reciprocity, it's going to be legal in other states pretty quick. You're seeing that effect in Waymo. Like, once we have a framework for it in a few places, we're just going to use the exact same framework in somewhere else. We don't have to invent it again.
St. Louis, Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Pittsburgh just announced today.
Where are they getting the vehicles to do the mapping from? All this
They don't have the vehicles yet. I mean, they're mapping with
I feel
like a few vehicles.
I feel like they've started announcing cities because they say, we announced city stock price. We announced city stock price go up.
Waymo doesn't move the needle for Alphabet. It's way too small of a slice.
Yeah. We'll see.
It might eventually, but right now it's just way too small.
It's good vibes. It's good vibes.
It is good vibes.
Go in the right direction and buy. They're executing.
They are executing, but they need some vehicles.
They're executing by announcing cities, which is what is what's taking Tesla a while to do. So that's not getting the paperwork done is not an insignificant portion of business. As a small business,
and if you're Waymo, they're getting the mapping done. That's the other thing.
Yeah, well, as soon as they're in there, they can start doing their mapping. So that's as soon as they're in a city, they can start doing the mapping.
And then the bottleneck just becomes the number of vehicles.
Earlier this week or last week.
Sorry, say it again.
Ray said he saw one in Houston last week. I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, I mean they've been testing there for like 6 months now. Now, whether or not they have enough vehicles to actually like run it and go public is a different question. And I'm sure there's people at Alphabet who are like pounding the table, like, give us more vehicles.
Yeah. I need to re-examine what their deal with Uber is as far as how much revenue they're giving away there. But I mean, I expect them to divorce themselves from Uber at some point.
They haven't. I won't speak to whether or not I think they will, but they haven't. And the reason is that you get full utilization. So yeah. I know we talked about on the Google episode, you've got these giant network effects of tons of people, both mostly riders in this case. It's going to be way more riders actually requesting rides on the Uber app than a standalone app. So it's making sure that the Waymo car is getting full utilization in Austin, for example.
Mm-hmm. And then they back that with human drivers, which is excellent. And it's something Tesla actually can't do.
And if you can get enough users on the Waymo One app itself, like they did in Phoenix and in California, then yeah, like what do you need Uber for? Is kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the Fed at all, or that's the last thing I had on the agenda? We've got a new Fed chair.
Oh yeah, we do. We have a lame duck Fed chair, I think is what you would really say. All of a sudden, it's kind of like when you fire you hire the head coach of another football team, and they want to stay and coach the playoffs, and you're like, no, you can't stay here. You're high, get the F out of here. We don't want you anymore.
Okay, so walk us through the Lane Kiffin situation. I had no idea what was going on. So from the outside, I saw this beef. I saw Lane, basically threaten to fight a reporter. And then before I know it, he takes a job at LSU, and he's saying that the AD at Ole Miss wants nothing to do with him. What the hell happened?
So LSU fired Brian Kelly, which was always going to happen. And they wanted Lane Kiffin they've tried to hire Lane Kiffin multiple times. They tried to hire him as offensive coordinator back when they hired Ed Orgeron. That was actually why they hired Ed Orgeron, as he said he was going to get Lane Kiffin for the offensive coordinator. But he took a head job at South Florida. And then a lot of people wanted him when they hired Brian Kelly. But he was still considered a little too crazy. And now we're like, we're going to go full on Louisiana with this thing. The governor's going to get involved. He's going to fire the AD personally. The most Louisiana thing possible happened in LSU football. But you have to remember, it's the only big time state school. It's the only big time state program. There's not multiple ones. And it's probably the best job in America. Per capita, the NFL has more players from Louisiana than any other state union. Other states have more players, but that's because they have larger populations.
I think I read somewhere that Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Devonta Smith, and who am I forgetting? Who's that other rookie LSU wide receiver who just got to the NFL?
Well, I mean, we've got quite a few. Brian Thomas Jr.
The guy who plays on the Giants.
Oh, Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, apparently all of them were born within like a 50-mile radius in Louisiana.
Yeah. And you're talking about wide receivers.
Yeah.
We ain't even talking about defensive linemen yet, bro. I mean, you're talking about boys that ate up eating gumbo. All right. The water's just I don't know, but they got dogs in Louisiana. So you don't have to go out of state. All these guys are like right at your doorstep. Okay. Literally the university lab has its own high school football team at the lab high school for the education group. They have their own football, and they already recruit some of the top high school players in the country. So they're already on campus. Like if you want to recruit them, you just go on your balcony to see them play.
So is that why Lane Kiffin left?
Oh yeah, he left. Well, and Nick Saban told him go to LSU.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, they have history, don't they?
His biggest regret is leaving LSU.
Huh. But why? How can you have a regret when you win that many natties at Alabama?
Because he knew what he had at LSU. Because you had to go fight at Alabama. You had to go fight Auburn for kids at Alabama, and you had to go everywhere else in the country to recruit at Alabama. But you don't want at LSU. They're already there. So anyway, so Lane he knows he's sitting on a gold mine. So it may look like a lateral move. Even the money might be the same, but the talent that's in state is just different. So anyway, his team is his team at Ole Miss is about to go to the playoffs, and people are like, oh well, and Lane was trying to get Ole Miss to let him coach the playoffs with his old team,
even after he's an employee at LSU. And they said no. Even when he wasn't sure if he was going to take the job or not, they gave him an ultimatum. It's like, well, you have to decide after the Egg Bowl. Egg Bowl. Okay. That's another reason going to LSU. They demand national championships there. They don't demand Egg Bowl wins. Cricket.
Fair enough. No, I mean, I don't blame him at all.
Anyway.
I'm surprised that they didn't let him finish the year, because that's normally what they do.
Yeah. A lot of times they will let him. So they told him he couldn't, but they're letting the offensive coordinator come back, who went with Lane Kiffin, got hired at LSU for like $2 million a year, but he's allowed to come back. But Lane Kiffin wasn't allowed to come back. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, the national media kind of got a hold of this, doesn't know what they're talking about, turned him into a black hat because, hey, he's had 5 exits and they've all been bad, one way or another. People say, oh, this wouldn't end. Oh yeah, and Zoe's right. Lane's daughter is also dating the starting linebacker at LSU. So they're about to be the next Livy Dunn, Paul Skeens.
Shout out to Matt Money, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Matt Money.
Rocket Lab had a hell of a day, and
yes,
I know he's brought a lot of people along for the ride on that one. I started buying somewhat recently, so I think that's an interesting one, especially with Sam Altman deciding that he wanted to build a rocket company out of left field.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the next Cash Flow Chronicles and hear Maddie or watch Rocket Lab Weekly and find out about that. Oh, it's 45 CRN. Okay.
CRN indeed. Zoe says, who is going to win the Super Bowl? I'll let you kick this thing off.
I don't care. Honestly, if there's one game I care the least about, it's the Super Bowl. If the Bengals run it, I really don't care.
Because you're more college?
Yeah, I'm more college.
Okay.
But I mean, I feel like if the NFL F's up and lets the Chiefs in the tournament, they're going to regret it.
No, Chiefs are cooked. Everyone's had enough of them.
Yeah, but I mean, Kelsey's got other priorities right now. We'll just say that. And there's only so many years you can have the 32nd draft, the 32nd draft pick, right? And all these guys get paid more and more and more money. They just get older and more expensive. And we see the real template for success as a team is you get a quarterback on a rookie contract, and you buy him a hell of a defense to help erase his mistakes and get him the ball back. And if he's any good, your team has a real good chance. Well,
it's not the Ravens. It's not the Steelers. Bengals would have to get hot, and their defense would have to improve very fast. So that just about does it for AFC North. What are the Bills doing? I have no idea. The Colts have lost 2 in a row, so not quite sure what's going on there. The Texans have won 4 in a row, so the Texans might come out of left field and actually win that division.
What are you looking at there? A quarterback on a rookie contract with a really good defense.
Yeah.
And what are you looking at on Chicago? A quarterback on a rookie contract.
Same thing with the Broncos, Bo Nix.
Yep.
Now, I think the Broncos and the Patriots, they might be frauds. Those two teams, the Broncos and the Patriots, winning lots of games, very, very, barely winning those games.
Sean Payton is a coach.
He is a coach. But, is Bo Nix a guy?
Yeah. Sean Payton's a coach.
Going over to the NFC side, you've got Eagles, Bears. Again, the Bears, the same thing. I think
Carolina's not dead yet either.
Ben Johnson, he's a guy. I think he's just like Sean Payton. He's a guy. He schemes people open really well. They've won 5 in a row. But is Caleb Williams a guy? That's a good question.
Doesn't matter.
He is.
He plays above his pace lot. And that's all you need really out of anybody. And when it's at the most important position, it has the most effect. Yeah, and easy schedules. So it's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And that especially applies to the Patriots and the Broncos. They've had some easier schedules. You said you like the Panthers. You like
I don't like the Panthers. I'm afraid that they may have a. Honestly, the other three NFC South teams that I just hate all of them so much.
Dude, I love Baker Mayfield. What are you talking about?
I just hate all of. Well, I don't hate Baker Mayfield as much as I hate Tampa Bay fans.
They have some good ass receivers, though.
Yeah, they do.
That's a dangerous offense.
And they can play. So I mean, but look, everybody but the Saints are still in it.
Falcons?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what their schedule is left, but I bet they have Panthers and Buccaneers on their schedule coming up, so they'll have a chance to pick up a game on each of those teams.
So no Panthers, but they do have the Bucs.
No Panthers do have the Bucs. Okay.
And then you've got.
But Jacksonville is actually leading the. Sorry, back to the AFC South. Jacksonville is actually in the lead there. So Sunshine.
They are. I do not believe in Sunshine.
I made so much money on that as a Monday night game. Like Amit and I were texting back and forth about who was going to bet. And of course, Amit's always like the front runner guy, right? So he's betting on Mahomes, and I'm like, nah, that's not how this works, man. You have to buy the cheap contracts. So all I did was like whenever the Chiefs would like score, the price of the contracts on Robinhood would go against would get insanely cheap for the Jags to win. And so I would just buy Jags. And then when they would then when they would score, sell, or whenever they would get, and then they also got a turnover and just sell, and just like in and out that whole night. By the time they actually won the game, I didn't have any contracts left because I had just sold them all when they took the lead. If I'd had held them to win, it would have been even more.
Have you told Jason about this strategy? Because I know Jason likes to dabble.
No, but it's kind of like the UVix plays, like just compound smallish wins. Don't make a play don't try to play the whole game. Don't try to predict the whole game. Just try to predict what's going to happen next. And naturally the momentum is going to swing back and forth, and just try to capture that.
Well, I think this is the division right here.
Yep. I did Julie's about to log off. So I did want to answer your question, Julie. Bad Bunny is playing the halftime show.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Somewhat controversial.
I'm surprised she didn't hear about this. This was a whole thing. He went on SNL and made a whole thing. You can look it up and get into that. But there was a little bit of a culture war there.
I'm sure it'll show up again.
It definitely will. Yeah. But Stafford is playing some of the best ball. He had 22 touchdowns without an interception. I mean, he's really taking care of the ball. And the guy obviously knows his shit.
Yeah, Zoe's right. Base hits. Collect base hits.
Base hits. Yeah. The Cowboys, they don't have a defense, right?
Yeah, but like, I mean,
are they in the same boat as the Bengals? Like the offense is clicking, but the defense might figure it out?
I don't know. I mean, I live in Texas, and I get so much joy out of like just trolling Cowboys fans. I only care about them when they're losing. So I don't know what makes them good. I only know how to troll them.
That Dak is playing really good ball. Now we haven't seen him play at that level in the playoffs yet. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Yeah, just like Lamar. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. We know he's slinging it right now. Dak might win the MVP if he continues this. They have to win more games, but he's playing at that level.
Cowboys saying, well, I mean, let's be honest. Defense is a problem for the NFL entirely. Most defenses now not actually stopping. It's just offenses failing.
You see Mel Kiper Jr. came out and said we should ban cover 2.
What? We should ban roughing the passer.
let them take off their head.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to the days where you better be a tight end going over the middle, because if you're a wide receiver, you're getting decapitated.
You're going to kill the golden goose.
Yeah, I know. I'm fine with that. Hey, look who my favorite quarterback is. I'm used to him not playing the whole season.
He's always on the sideline.
What Anthony wants to know what the best cities to visit in Texas and tourist spots. I'm a transplant here, Anthony. Texas is the same size as Europe. So like, what are the best places to go? Like, it's huge. It's huge, bro. It's like, we couldn't get a Mitt to come to Texas because he's like, well, I couldn't get everyone from Austin and San Antonio and Dallas and Houston to all pick a spot to come to. I'm like, bro, you had meetups in New York and in Philly, and you would have them in Philly and in Boston. Like, those cities are all closer than the big Texas cities.
So check this out. I've got.
Oh, Zoe's right. That's sliding. That is so terrible. Like, how many times have you also seen, especially Mahomes does this? He like fakes he's going out of bounds and then doesn't. And
it's awful.
all the defenders are like, oh no, I can't touch the quarterback, so let me not hit him in case he's going out of bounds or he's acting like he's gonna slide. Yeah, you got to be able to hit at the boundary, even if it's the quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough. And remember that Kenny Pickett play that he like fake slid. He like acted like he was going to go down, and then he took off and ran for a touchdown. It's like those sorts of plays are going to get quarterbacks murdered.
I mean, I don't think so. I think the rules committee is going to uphold him. They're like, yep, you can't hit the quarterback. It's like, well, he's trying to take advantage of the rules.
This one's for Anthony here.
Yeah.
Texas
is
there you go.
Like there you go,
way
bro.
Bigger than Germany.
Yeah.
Now, in this part of the state, in the Panhandle, there's not really anything up there, right?
Yeah, the Panhandle. Well, I mean, it's desert. I mean, which is its own beauty. I mean, driving through it's something everyone should do at least once, and then do it during the winter when it's snowing. That is actually gorgeous. I was fortunate enough to do that one time.
Have you ever been to Sedona when it's snowing?
No.
Beautiful. Red rocks with snow on it. Looks real nice.
Yeah, the rocks with snow. Yeah, I was driving, like I was coming back home from Washington, and I had like a front behind or in front of me, and it was like going through New Mexico and Arizona and West Texas. That was beautiful.
So Anthony wants us to overlay Australia over what, Texas? Let's see how big Australia is compared to Texas. Oh my goodness.
Red Rocks is in Texas.
No. Red Rocks is in Vegas. Red Rocks Park?
Well, it's also in Texas.
Okay. Let's see here.
Or I'll say this, there is also one in Texas.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Australia's about the same size as the US.
Yeah, so he was asking about Queensland? Is that how? It's kind of small on my screen.
Queensland? Sure that's this northeast section here where Brisbane is. Northeast.
Okay.
Did I say that right? Brisbane? I think it's Brisbane.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
So let's start moving towards wrapping up here. You looking at anything interesting for the rest of the week? I know we were kind of looking towards that. You mentioned the Fed. I think our cut is coming. It might be priced in now.
I know I'm going to buy more Netflix.
I actually bought hedges against that on Robinhood. Figured that was actually just the easiest way to hedge against the rate cut not coming in. So I bought contracts. I don't know if you saw
on the cut or not.
Yeah, I bought contracts for no cut. So if they end up not cutting, I'll be the only person partying. with the $1,000 of cash I have in my Robinhood account.
Yeah, I'll be buying Netflix because, like I described, my portfolio's you can call it risk on, you can call it consumer dependent, you can call it what you want it, but I'm going to be adding to Netflix. I want to get that. I've got a 2% position as of this morning. I added to it by about 30% when I saw how much it opened down, and it stabilized there. So within the next week or two, when I start up a new position, I usually don't buy all the shares at once. I usually break it up into at least 2 buys. So
normally take a couple of weeks to build out a position.
Yeah. So I know I'm going to be buying more. I just don't know quite when yet. I'll have a look at the price action, but I do know that I want to be buying, especially if it goes under 100. I'm going to be buying.
I'd almost sell a put if it goes under 100. Just sell the put.
You can do that too. Now
you buy a little more down. I don't know how much more you're willing to put in it, but you buy a little bit further, or you get a little more downside protection by selling the put.
Correct. Yeah, it's less risky.
You can get assigned and still end up with a better price point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a more cautious approach to getting into the position. But if you're expecting a V-shaped recovery, you've got to own the shares. Otherwise, you miss a lot of the move. You still make money on the puts, but not quite as much. And then I'm still looking at SoFi a little bit. That might be my DCA. I think a lot of folks are underestimating the catalysts that are coming there with the rate cuts, mortgages coming back online, student loans now being forced to be repaid. So there's going to be a lot of refi activity there. Then you've got 10% short interest with possible S&P 500 inclusion. The institutions hate it, so they're all way underweight. So I think you could have this convergence where if you get rate cuts with another positive print on top of S&P 500 inclusion, you get shorts covering at the same time that all the toots have to buy. Oh boy. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's the only position that I have leverage on. It's not a lot. It's like 15% of my SoFi position, but I might make it more. I might just have to make it more. And then Amazon, I think I'm not going to say anything that hasn't been rehashed. You can check out my Amazon post and my Twitter, or look at literally anybody else talking about Amazon as well. But that's what I'm eyeballing right now.
Yeah, I had a great Amazon trade to establish my position. I actually did buy rights. If you don't know what that is, it's where you buy 100 shares and you write a covered call at the same time. So so last year I did a buy right at 300. So I got $9 per share at a $300 price point for December 2026. I think we're going to come in pretty close on that.
So you have it at 300 by the end of next year?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's not out of the question, especially if AWS continues to reaccelerate.
Might get called away, but just to, I basically for each 100 shares I bought, I got $941 coupon to buy 100 shares. And, so far it hasn't run away from me. So, Yeah, that should. I think. What are we at right now? Like
232 is what we closed
232.
at.
So that is basically that's a 30-ish% run in a year. I mean, that's
Um,
totally acceptable.
if
it runs
if it
25%
keeps-
a year, I'm good. Yeah.
if it keeps going down, I will be applying leverage. I know that much. Like I do this thing where if I've got a position built out and I don't want to add new money to it, but I still have a high level of conviction, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just sell those shares and apply leverage. The amount of leverage that you apply, variable, right? You could buy something at the money, out the money, or deep in the money. And you can also go short date, medium date, long date. I'm usually like an in the money, long dated type leverage player. That was a lot of my Google options.
Yeah. You learned that from Aunt Nancy.
Exactly. Yeah. Nancy had the right idea. So like when she's buying call options for NVIDIA, like those are deep in the money. And it's just a little bit of leverage. That way you're pouring gas on the fire when the stock goes up, but you're not getting demolished if the stock trades flat.
Your risk of going to zero is much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Amazon's already my number 2 position. I'm at 12%. So if it takes off and goes to 330, like I don't feel like I'm missing anything. Like I'll be all right.
No, my average, I just looked at, so my average on that sale was 185 is where I bought that at, and then I got $9 off per share. So that's like a 176-ish price. And if I'm forced to sell at 300, that's darn near close enough to a double for me in a year. Thank you very much. I'll take that trade and be very happy with it.
So the idea is you build in your floor of near that 180, and then you make money up until the easy money's done being made at 300, and then that's your trade.
It got called away from me. Yeah, the shares are for sale at 300. Like I put a for sale sign on my shares at 300.
Nice.
So, if the price goes above that, then people will be incentivized to buy the shares from me at 300. I mean, I could roll or whatever, if I get into that. But right now, without having to do anything, that has just been sitting there. So buy rate can be very powerful. We don't talk about it a lot kind of in our circle and community because everybody's just like buying shares, or they're just like talking about wheeling their options. But, sometimes like if you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to take this price, I'm going to buy shares at this price, and 2 years from now, like if it doubles, I'll be thrilled, and I'll just sell the cover call right then, and I'll build in the double, but I'll also take a discount on the share price now. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah, so you get some upside without having to cap it. Like a lot of people will buy shares and then they'll sell like slightly out of the money calls. They'll make lots of money on premium, but then if their stock moves more than 10%, they're immediately underwater on the shares. And I think that kills a lot of your momentum. Like if you have conviction in a name, why would you want to cap your upside like that?
Right. So if you're wanting to wheel and roll covered calls and manage that position every few days for years, okay, fine.
Right.
Dude, I don't want to do that. So I'll take a one-time coupon to buy the shares, and I'll limit my upside to a double or close enough to a double for a year or 18 months out. And oh darn, I only doubled.
Oh darn.
Yeah. Well, let me compound that back into the next trade, right? And it's like if this starts getting close to something, then I can back out of it, but or roll it out, whatever. But yeah, so just real quick look at the portfolio, talk about that. I got my Verizon position up to, it's almost done being built out. I wanted 1,000 shares there. I'm at 978. Grab, I'm getting close to my 10,000 shares I want there. TLT is getting close to the 2% allocation I wanted. I'm at 1.75%. So I have one Bitcoin in the ETF that's held in ARC 3,000 shares of ARC-B. Palantir is soul crushingly small compared to what it should have been.
I'm right there with you. I sold a lot of shares in the 60s, 70s, and at 110. I'm with you.
I got in trouble with covered calls as much as I just talked about selling the call for the double. Yeah, I lost a whole bunch of money on Palantir shares. That I used to have 10,000 shares, and because
Who could have known?
I put a whole bunch of them up for sale at $25. And yeah, I had to get out of that position before it got worse. Could have held on. Turns out it could have held on for a little while till it went back under 200, but you can never really time those things. So, but that is the second largest position I have. And then Hood is my largest. Yeah, and NVIDIA is third. I'm almost where I want to be on NVIDIA. That's 7.5% of the port right now.
And you're still buying it?
Not much more. Maybe as little as another $2,000.
Okay.
Yeah, keep waiting for this grab thing to happen, and then Venture Global has just annihilated itself this year. But I've been buying all the way down.
VG's been tough for sure, and I think Grab, it just needs sustained results, and I think if they can deliver that, the setup is nice.
We need to find out what they're doing with these $1 billion they have. Are they buying GoTo or not?
It looks like it. That's what I hear.
I mean, if they do it, then I'm fine. I got rid of all my calls, so I'm just in shares now, but I'm comfortable with that. I have
and a lot of the value's in cash, right?
Yeah. I have enough shares now that if it takes off, I'm good. I actually was looking at buying some calls down at this level because it's a little under my average, but Venture Global is the one that and it's killing me in the oh, we should look at that.
You'll have to pull it up. It's on my phone. I'm not sure how to get it here. You're talking about the stock draft in the WhatsApp, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So everyone knows the stock drafts for the heavy hitters in the community, but yeah, you could pull this up.
Hey, we got to show some love to the minor leagues as well.
Yeah, the minor leagues got to show off. So look at your boy Austin. He was not in the top 6 for a very long time. As Siege he took the throne from Siege, who has been just crushing it all year long. Your boy Dougie was hanging out at 3rd for most of the year, but VG has just annihilated.
Now, to be clear, the rules were a little bit different here than they were for.
We could pick whatever we wanted.
Yeah, we could pick whatever 10. So
next time we
see
do
a lot of overlaps here with Robinhood, HIMS, and Rocket Lab.
Yeah, next time we do it, I would like us to not share again, but other people have different opinions about what is fun. So
now I'm not sure how much mine's going to hold up here. I don't like HIMS anymore. It had a lot of catalyst, and since then I saw just a lot of things from HIMS management that I didn't quite like. So we'll see how that goes. And AMD seems rather flimsy right now. Who knows what's going to happen with housing? So I've got my top 2 there, Home Depot and Rocket. And then you've also got Fannie Mae. So those are giant question marks. So this thing is far from over, and Siege is hot on my trail here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We need to add this to our show update.
Okay.
'Cause,
You got it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, folks, ChatGPT is the 6th best stock picker amongst everybody who participated.
The robots are coming.
But yeah, if you're in the chat and you want to do this the next time, I know Wong is working on putting together another round of it. I think I hope we do it more as a snake draft. That way because a lot of stuff zeroes out. I mean, look how many people have hymns, look how many people have Hood, look how many people have Rocket Lab. They're basically zero deltas between the pickers, right? So
yeah,
and it really takes a little more skill to kind of dive deep on stuff beyond the top 30 stocks that everybody talks about. So
can you go into the tab for Siege, like his specific tab at the bottom?
Oh, I mean, this guy is look
at that.
Even
he's picking micro caps, and he's got 8 out of 10 winners.
Yeah, I mean, D-Wave is on the way back today.
Like KTOS has done amazing. VSAT has crushed. ATEC, I have no idea what this company even is, and it's doubled.
Right.
We started this in what, July?
Those weekly calls, and like Siege would get on and start talking. I'm just like, I just need to shut up and let Siege talk. I'm just like, seriously, we should be having Siege and Zoe on to tell us about what they're doing.
Well, I know Zoe's in the chat. Open invite to Zoe. Also, we do have to have Siege on. We'll have to bug him until he finally does.
What was it? I just got tagged in the group text. Somebody asked if I'm buying OpenAI's space company. That would be a no. I like, bro. Some of these armature rocketry vendors had some Black Friday deals that I may have overdone it. And by may have, I mean I absolutely overdid it by like 10x.
I mean, if you have buyer's remorse, you can always return it. You're like, nah. You don't strike me as a guy who returns much, Doug.
Honestly, in like the whole hobby or like low level commercial rocketry world right now, getting your hands on solid propellant is super difficult because of the land war in Europe. So, I mean, you got to kind of just get it and stash it while you can.
Cool. Are we good to wrap?
Yeah, we are. Zoe said Oscar, ASTS, and UNH. Boy, UNH finally popped a little bit today. I didn't see ASTS pop up, but I think I did say I bought Meta today, right?
You did, yeah. We covered that.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bought a little bit.
We didn't get into why. If you want, we can talk Meta next episode for sure.
Just it's a reversion of the mean play. It's already in my my weekly buy, like a weekly buy. I mean, it's a founder CEO who's just a killer in a great business, and like they have
strong margins.
Yeah, they have strong margins. He's playing killer on collecting all the AI talent, unlike with like Reality Labs, where he was just like investing in all the hardware and everything, which I guess he did buy all the talent buying Oculus, but yeah, he's getting to reap some of that reward through another vertical now that they're partnering with Anduril. But yeah,
makes sense. Yeah, and you're not the only one. But thanks everyone for joining. We will be doing the shows on Wednesday nights. 9:45 Eastern is the tentative time here. So we'll try and make it a regular time. That way you guys know when the shows are going to be showing up. Links are in the description for my X, Dougie's X, and Dougie's YouTube channel as well. Thanks, everyone.
See y'all.